weekend. It's 51, feels like 41 downtown at the Arch. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
Traffic from the MichaelsFlooringOutlet.com Traffic Center.
Well, game day traffic sponsored by the all-new St. Louis Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, your friends in the car business. Eastbound 64 is backed up McKnight to Big Bend, and because of that, South 170 is a solid jam from Delmar down to 64. If you're on westbound 64, Kings Highway headed out through Big Bend is heavy, approaching Clayton Worcester to 270 slow. Clarkson to Topgolf and Western Wing even out to 70, all busy. Westbound 70, some slow stuff at the city limits. A couple of spots from the airport out through the Rock Road where it's heavy, and then 270, it's bogged down out to about 5th Street. Both sides of Highway K and A to Z. Westbound 370 west of the Mills to the Discovery, slow. North 170 Natural Bridge up through Hanley's pretty heavy. If you're on southbound 270, you've got some slow traffic approaching Olive down to Manchester and 44 down to Gravois. Westbound 44 just the right lanes at Geyer, and then it's still slow west of Lewis to 109. We had an earlier crash out there, and at one point it was backed up through Antire. 44 downtown, backed up both ways between the bridges. 70 eastbound east of the Mutual Veterans Bridge is on the brakes. Eastbound 64, 111 through 157, you're backed up as well. Next update at 520 for the MichaelsFlooringOutlet.com Traffic Center.
News, traffic, and the latest on the Redbirds. This is the Redbird Rush Hour on KMOX.
Sponsored by Busey Bank. Building community with Busey Bank. Beyond the game.
All right, it's Tuesday on Redbird Rush Hour. Matt, Pauley, and Kevin Wheeler with you here, and we are here, and there's no game coming. The game tonight has been postponed until July 7th, so there will be a doubleheader on July 7th. Tomorrow will be the normal day game, getaway game for the Cardinals because they're heading out to the West Coast after tomorrow's game. But no baseball game tonight. But thankfully, Matt, we got baseball talk here on KMOX.
We do. You have to work like an extra 10 to 15 minutes tonight.
Yeah, man, I'm so mad.
And I have to work an estimated 3 hours less.
I was going to say, you might be the biggest winner of the day.
I might be.
Of all of the people that have, well, maybe others that work at the stadium might get the same benefit as you.
Right.
But then they're going to, well, you won't have to pull double duty on July 7th. Some of them might.
That is true. And also, I feel really good about how the Cardinals are playing right now. And I'm not feeling as good about how the Brewers are playing right now.
Yeah.
So depending on how things look when this game is rescheduled, it might feel a little bit different.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting the way that it went down, and we were talking about it briefly over the show. I'm not trying to get mad about it. It's just an odd thing to do when you look at tomorrow. You've got an early game. The Cardinals play in San Diego on Thursday, so I'm sure they would like to get out as early as possible, but you got the whole day, right? It's a 9 p.m. Central Time game, so it's not like they're going to have a short turnaround by going out there. And Milwaukee's off on Thursday, so they don't have anywhere to go tomorrow. They play in New York on Friday, so it's not going to change anything for them travel-wise. But yet now this puts the Cardinals in a bad spot in July because they plop this doubleheader, and I don't know. This is not a team choice. This is not like the Cardinals and Brewers decided this. Major League Baseball has a say in it, too. You plop that doubleheader into the middle of a stretch where the Cardinals are playing 14 straight days leading into the All-Star break. So, you're playing June 30th all the way through July 12th every day, and now one of those is a doubleheader. Yeah. Less than ideal for the Cardinals.
So, I never know what as the day went along today, I start to hear things, right?
Yeah.
And nothing is official, and you just start to hear plausible scenarios of what might go down if they don't play. And throughout that time, I heard doubleheader tomorrow.
Right.
Which, for the reasons you just stated,
right,
there's a lot of making sense on that.
And I'm sure the Cards would prefer getting out earlier tomorrow when you're going to the West Coast. But if I'm trying to read a player's mind, would I prefer that, or would I prefer to have a doubleheader in the middle of a tough stretch when it's going to be 100 degrees out?
So Jeff Jones from the Belleville News-Democrat tweeted out about an hour ago. He said, I guess he was in the clubhouse at the time. He said, I don't think there's a single person in this clubhouse or maybe even this ballpark who thinks this game is being played tonight. Heard Major League Baseball is being crabby about the doubleheader scheduling. We'll see. And then a little while after that, we found out that it's not a doubleheader tomorrow, but instead it is going to be that, as you mentioned, the game
Yeah.
coming up later on in the summer. So I don't know. I don't know what went down. I just know I've been around long enough to know how these things normally go down. And normally when I start hearing little bits of information during the day, that's how it plays out. And it did not play out that way today, which is different.
Yeah, and I'm not sure it benefits anybody. And I'm sure it doesn't help Milwaukee either, because they're probably in a similar stretch as the Cardinals at that time. And when you're getting up to the All-Star break, that's a tough time. It's hot out. You're playing a lot of games. Either way, it's not the end of the world, but I feel like there's a more common sense way to handle that.
I would have thought so too. And you wouldn't have had to play a 7:00 game tomorrow night. You could have
played at 4:45 and been out by 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
Well, anywho, that's all through, and we got a lot to talk about today, because obviously today was Ollie Day on the Gas House Gang, and Dusty Blake joined him, so we actually have a couple of clips from Dusty Blake that we're going to talk around here when it comes to the pitching, and we can start that up in the next segment, Matt. But we're in the middle of this amazing stretch of baseball where this was this stretch, and we're still in it, and there's still a long ways to go. This was going to be the stretch that tested this team's capabilities. So far, they are not passing. They're passing with straight A's.
Yeah.
The first 8 games of this stretch, you're 7-1.
I'm getting caught up a little bit. I'm getting caught up in it a little bit. And
it's okay. I still have the part of my brain going, we need more time, we need more time, we need more time. But there's no arguing the quality of what you're seeing. You're beating good teams. You're finding interesting and different ways to do it on some days. The starting pitching has gotten better the last 10 days, which is interesting because you're facing better teams, and you're still hitting home runs.
Yeah. I didn't look at the numbers today, but going into yesterday, you were 4th in Major League Baseball.
Yeah, tied for 4th. Last year, they were 29th in home runs.
They had double as many home runs as the Brewers had hit.
Yeah.
They were at 44 going into yesterday. Brewers were at 22.
And for the people that don't think that power matters that much, this is the difference.
Yeah.
The Cardinals between last year and this year, the biggest difference is that they're hitting home runs now. Because a home run is a self-contained rally. In an era where it's hard to string together 3 or 4 or 5 hits in an inning, harder than ever to do that because it's harder than ever to get a hit. Home runs really help you score offense, and obviously it's a self-contained rally, even if it's a solo homer. It would take a double and a single or 3 singles to get that one run, and one swing of the bat gets it for you. And obviously, big part of that is Jordan Walker's breakout. JJ is a power upgrade over Brendan Donovan if we're looking at that as a 1-for-1. Nathan Church is a power upgrade over Newt. Again, based on last year.
Yeah. Alec Burleson's kind of equal to Wilson Contreras.
Yes.
So what you thought
and you're
might be
getting
a
better
step
defensively by doing that.
Yeah. You are. And Burleson's playing a heck of a first base
defensively. He's doing a good job.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's doing a good job. And look, I don't know that Herrera's the greatest catcher in the world, but boy, does it lengthen your lineup when you have that bat behind the plate.
It's not like get him out of the lineup bad.
No, it's
Right,
fine.
yeah.
It's fine. Like I said, even for this year, even if it's not fine, it's okay for this year. But it's giving you a little bit more offense, so you now have a real high-end hitter who's catching 40% of your games. So that's helping. So all of these things together, and it's not just that. I mean, you got little bits and pieces from other guys here and there, but you're hitting all these home runs, and that's even with Victor Scott not doing a lot. Pais has had 1 week of being hot. Really, that's been about it. Arias has hit a few homers against lefties. Now he's on the injured list, by the way, for those that missed it. He's on the injured list today, so Thomas Ajacey is back from Memphis.
Quick, did he go?
Did he even get off the plane?
I did not. So I will admit, I had some inside information today that this game was probably not going to get played.
Yeah.
So I did not go to the ballpark.
Yeah.
If I would have gone to the ballpark, the thing I was most interested in, did Thomas Ajacey go to Memphis?
Did he ever even leave?
Did he leave St. Louis? Because yesterday
it's a good question
was
because
an
they had
day.
to know that something was up with Arias.
Yeah, I don't know. Because
before today.
The move for Prieto was made. He found out yesterday morning at like 6:30 in the morning.
Right.
So I assume that's the same time that Ajacey found out.
Right.
Memphis did not. It's a Monday. Yesterday was a Monday.
Yeah.
So Memphis did not play. They were. They're in Toledo right now. What if he went to Toledo?
I don't know. I'm guessing now at the off day today. It doesn't really even matter,
right?
Because he would be back in time for the next game. But yeah, it's been a fascinating couple of days. But all that is to point out that you're getting more home run production. And honestly, if you had gotten out of Walker last year what you did this year, you might not be rebuilding.
You might be a playoff team last year. You might be what Cincinnati was.
I know.
Yeah.
Which means that you may not have changed course, and who knows what that means.
Can I raise my hand and make an even bigger hot take?
Let's do it.
I'm not a hot take guy. If you get that production from Jordan Walker and you cut bait sooner with Eric Fetty, you're easily a playoff team.
If McGreevy takes those starts.
Yeah. Because if either one of those
you probably
things,
add at the deadline in that scenario.
for sure. If either one of those things happens independently, you might be a playoff team. If both those things happen, you are a playoff team.
And I only bring that up to point out that this is why they're so much better than expectation, largely because you have a star player that was a non-factor last year as a hitter, and now he's hitting like a star. So that's great stuff. All right, we're going to hear a little bit from Dusty Blake as we go through. He's talking about the rotation, the bullpen, things we've been talking about a lot. So you hear a little bit from the Cardinals pitching coach and a whole lot more all the way up till 6 o'clock on Redbird Rush Hour.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance tech at a university, he knows ordering from multiple suppliers takes time away from keeping their arena up and running. That's why he counts on Grainger to get everything he needs, from lighting and HVAC parts to plumbing supplies, all in one place. And with fast, dependable delivery, he's stocked and ready for the next tip-off. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Why'd I go to the doctor? Working on the farm, my heart kept skipping a beat. I didn't think much of it, but my daughters made me get checked out. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit notimetowait.com. Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
Guys, if you're thinking about selling your home this spring, maybe this summer, I have one recommendation for you. Call Gloria Lou. Look, in today's real estate market, the agent that you choose matters, and it might matter now more than it really ever has. And the only clear choice is Gloria Lou with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Look, I've had the chance to get to know Gloria. She's walked me through how their systems work. It's backed by data. It is really smart. They have, in fact, speaking of data, they have a database of thousands of buyers in waiting, and your home might be the right one for one of them, but you don't know it if you're not working with Gloria. And she sells faster and for more than the average agent. And, when you've been doing this for more than 20 years and you've helped thousands of families in St. Louis, you've earned this reputation. And look, Gloria sells 4 to 5 homes. She sells like a home about every other day, where a lot of agents are like 4 or 5 a year. There's a reason that she's beating everybody as badly as she is. It's obviously the system, the database, but it's also the upfront written guarantees that are so appealing to sellers. Gloria will sell your home at a price and a time frame acceptable to you, or she'll buy it herself, or she'll sell your home at 100% of the market value or pay you the difference. Either way, you're winning when you call Gloria Lou. So if you're ready to do it, here's the number, 314-325-6888. She will walk you through her plans and the way that it works, just like she did me. 314-325-6888, or just visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com. As always, seller and Gloria must agree on price and possession date.
Experience an evening of love, beauty, and lush soundscapes as the St. Louis Symphony Orchestra performs Ravel's Daphnis and Chloe. 3 extraordinary pieces come to life, from Ravel's masterpiece to the world premiere of Nathalie Joachim's Family to Kevin Putz's evocative Virelai. Nearly 300 musicians, May 8th through 10th at Powell Hall at the Jack C. Taylor Music Center. Tickets at slso.org.
Traffic from the MichaelsFlooringOutlet.com Traffic Center.
Game day traffic sponsored by the all-new St. Louis Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. Your friends in the car business know the game's been postponed, but there's still a lot of volume. In fact, eastbound 64 is still pretty busy east of Lindbergh in through Big Bend. South 170 still has a jam from Delmar down to 64. Those are the busiest routes that would have been headed that way, obviously. If you're headed home on westbound 64 from almost Boyle, but we'll call it Kings Highway to Big Bend, it's backed up. Still slow approaching Clayton Warson to 270. And out in the Westplex, it's backed up Winghaven to 364, but still slow to 70 after that. Westbound 70, slow at the city limits. There are pockets where it gets busy from the airport most of the way to the Blanchette Bridge, Zumbell to Cave Springs, T.R. Hughes to about Bryan Road, and then finally at 61, South 270 slow from 364 down to Ladue. After that, it's kind of busy, 44 all the way down to really 55. Gotten a lot slower through there, but there's no problems right now. Westbound 44, the right lanes are at Geyer. Still have that heavy traffic. Lewis out to 109. We had earlier problems there. Southbound 55, a little slow south of Arsenal briefly. Westbound 44 backed up between the bridges, and eastbound 64, 111 to 157 is bumper to bumper. I'm Roger Brand at the MichaelsFlooringOutlet.com Traffic Center.
It's cash for clunkers right now at St. Louis Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. Push it, pull it, drag it in, and get up to $4,500 for your trade. No matter the condition, turn that clunker into cash today. This offer won't last. St. Louis CDJR, your friends in the car business. Must qualify. See dealer for details.
Now, back to the Redbird Rush Hour on KMOX.
Sponsored by Busey Bank. Building community with Busey Bank. Beyond the game.
All right, Redbird Rush Hour here on KMOX. Matt, Pauley, Kevin Wheeler with you here till 6 o'clock. In case you missed it, no ball game tonight. The weather has pushed it off. So there will be the regular afternoon game tomorrow at 12:15. But today's game will be played on July 7th as part of a day-night doubleheader. So there you go. That's that. We already talked about all of that. Just want to remind anybody that's tuning in for the first time, if you missed that, you now have the news. There is no Cardinals game today. But you have Cardinals talk. All the way
That's
up
what we're doing.
all the way up till 8 o'clock tonight. I mean, I'm sure you'll mix in some other things on
I
Sports
may
on the
not.
Line. No?
It might be
All right.
nothing but Cardinals
It's gonna be a
tonight.
baseball day. That's
Yeah.
good. That's good. Well, that's what we're doing till 6 here on Redbird Rush Hour. So
I've got a handful of guests lined up, and they're all baseball related.
All right. We've been talking a lot of pitching, obviously. Yeah. And, you know, the starting pitching has been quite a bit better. What, the last 8-9 games? You know, it's been getting better as it goes, which is a great sign. Still some underlying stuff that maybe could be a concern, but they're getting by. And Dusty Blake was on today with the guys on the Gas House Gang, and he hit on a couple of interesting issues that you picked out.
Yeah, so the first thing we're going to get to, he talked about pitchers, and the expected numbers for a lot of these pitchers, not especially good.
Right.
But there's also some pitchers who are outperforming the expected numbers, doing things that they're really, really good at. And he touched on that, like how do you sort of, put in one hand what the expected numbers are and judge on that based off on the other hand, actually look at what these guys are doing and doing well.
The biggest thing is we've got to lean into what they're great at. We've got to continue to help them do smaller things that give them a chance to control maybe more of their outcomes over time based on their strategy. But yeah, there's clear analytic, implicit, however you want to say it, strategy. And if the guys don't put the ball in play and you punch them out, it's a lot easier to keep the bases clean than if you have to rely on ball and play. I think what our org and some of our guys have done really well, and this is definitely you hear maybe more 10, 15 years ago than you hear now, but they're letting the defense play a little bit. I think we had 7 double plays that we were able to turn on Saturday and Sunday combined. And, when you are on the ground a lot, that is one of the benefits. Like, yeah, sometimes, on average, 7 out of 10 of those ground balls are going to be outs, but if one gets through and you can manage the running game, which is also something, if you're going to be a savvy pitcher on the mound, like we can't give away anything from the running game standpoint, but if we control that, then we're going to keep that guy at first base. And when the next one is at somebody, we've got a chance to get 2 outs now. So there are some things like that can still be beneficial. We do want to continue to do both. So if you think about there's this, the debate, more analytical, go out there and compete. Which one do we want? Like, we want both. Do you want a healthy brain or a healthy heart? Well, we want both. So we want to continue to evolve from a stuff standpoint, from a velocity standpoint. But we can't discount the execution, and we can't discount the things that really give our guys a chance right now to be successful. And sometimes based on the skill set and the capacity, it may be, attacking those weak contact areas a little bit more than chasing the punch out.
Well, I mean, he's not wrong in the sense that you really shouldn't be trying to do things you're not good at.
Right.
Right. I mean, every player, whether you're a hitter, position player, and really in any sport, you've got to lean into your strengths. So if your strength is you throw 100, well, find a way to lean into that. If your strength is command, like Michael McGreevy, you got to find a way to lean into that. I think his point overall is correct, and it is what's happening. It doesn't mean it's not a concern, though, when you're giving up a lot of hard contact and you're getting outs out of it now, because we know that batted ball luck is random, and it can turn against you at any time. When the ball is in play, there's a chance something will go wrong. Ball lands in a spot where nobody's playing. It's hit over the fence, whatever. But you don't have the guys that are strikeout pitchers, so what can you do? You lean into what they're good at.
Yeah, I sent you a text last night when Graceffo gave up some runs.
Yeah.
And I said, because the numbers for Graceffo is, and I'm a big Gordon Graceffo guy. This is not me putting him down.
No.
But he was not going to finish the year with a sub-1 ERA.
No, and he wasn't pitching like that.
Right. So I am pleased when he has an outing where those numbers start to regulate a little bit in a game where the Cardinals win. That was the point I made. Let him have a night like that in a game that the Cardinals are going to win.
Yeah, I mean, it's still kind of scary when you're looking at him with a 6.67 expected ERA and a hard hit rate that is in the bottom 1% in baseball.
Yeah.
Like, that's not that 197, that 193 ain't lasting as long as that hard hit rate is that. So, again, it's not just about contact. It's the quality of the contact that's the concern. And, yes, you can still pitch around it, as we've seen. I mean, Michael McGreevy has pitched around it. His hard hit rate is actually really good. His problem isn't he gives up a lot of hard contact. He just gives up a lot of contact.
Right.
And at some point, those fall in. And right now, I haven't looked at it, but his batted ball luck's probably pretty good when you consider that the expected ERA is 2 points higher than the actual ERA, almost 2.5.
And you're okay if those numbers come back a little bit. You just don't want them to fall off a cliff at once.
Correct. And again, I really like that main point, though. What you have to lean into because you can't magically just make things exist that don't exist. All right, that's Redbird Rush Hour. We continue on. More pitching talk coming up after the news on KMOX.
The Biz-Dash 5K, presented by Worldwide Technology, is back. Produced by the St. Louis Sports Commission, this high-energy corporate race is St. Louis's healthiest happy hour, combining fitness, fun, and unbeatable team bonding for companies of every size. Runners and walkers of all levels are welcome. It all comes together at Energizer Park Thursday, May 7th in downtown St. Louis, an office party like no other. Create your company team today at stlbizdash.com.
This is the Our Idea is Ready to Launch vision. This is the Create Great Jobs vision. This is the We Need More Space vision. This is Busey, where your business visions become realizations. Through securing capital for growth and comprehensive strategies that ensure a prosperous future. Because thriving businesses mean thriving people and thriving communities. Busey Bank, building business, growing wealth since 1868. Member FDIC.
Why would life-saving care require a membership? In a real emergency, are you reaching for your wallet or your phone to call 911? And what if the member helicopter isn't the closest one? What if they don't carry blood on board? What if those differences matter? They do. Arch Air Medical Service is proud to serve Effingham and surrounding communities with life-saving air medical care. Our highly trained crews deliver advanced medicine in the air because when seconds count, capability matters more than a card in your wallet. Plus, we're part of Air Methods, the nation's largest air medical provider. Worried about cost? Here's the truth. The No Surprises Act protects patients with private insurance from unexpected out-of-network air ambulance bills. You'll only pay your in-network copay, coinsurance, or deductible. If you have Medicare or Medicaid, similar protections apply. Providers cannot bill beyond those limits. That means no air medical membership is needed. Learn more at airmethods.com. Copays, coinsurance, and deductibles are set by insurance providers, not Air Methods. Terms and costs may vary. Contact your insurer for details.
With summer here and the kids home full time, your garage door will see a lot more use. Do it a favor with annual maintenance from Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. The 26-point tune-up is one price for up to 3 garage doors and openers. Get them all done. Trusted in St. Louis for 100 years. Always look for the genuine, the original red ribbon of Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. Since 1926, they're never going to steer you wrong. Schedule online at overheaddoorsstlouis.com.
Want to make the most of your tax refund? File with TurboTax on Intuit Credit Karma. They help you get your biggest refund, and then we help you do more with it. With a personalized plan designed to help you hit your money goals. Start filing today in the Credit Karma app.
At 5:30, this news is sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com. We've got rain and 50 degrees downtown at the Arch, and that is why tonight's Cardinals game is postponed because of the forecast for rainy weather to continue over the next several hours. St. Louis and the Milwaukee Brewers will make it up on Tuesday, July 7th at 1:15. They've already got a game scheduled at 6:45. It becomes a doubleheader. Spring allergies are hitting hard across Missouri.
MU Healthcare allergy specialist Dr. Christine Franzi says Missouri's weather and airborne irritants play a major role in allergy symptoms.
Wildfire smoke, while it's not an allergen, it's an irritant, and it contributes to that inflammation that people get in their nose and their lungs. Flash flooding. That flooding, we get a lot of standing waters. It's bad for people with mold allergies.
Franzese tells Missouri Net allergy season can stretch most of the year, shifting from trees to grass to weeds before finally ending with the first hard frost. Fred Bottomer, KMOX News.
I think we dropped the ball on this, and a lot of people don't understand pure economics.
Ferguson Councilman David Williams reacting to the death of a redevelopment of the former Emerson Electric campus. A split city council rejected the data center agreement after dozens of residents pleaded with them to protect the environment. But now the future of the 217-acre property is totally up in the air. The site costs $1 million a month to maintain, and resident Linda Lipka warns the council that the owner's backup plans are bad news for Ferguson.
One, close up shop and move to Ohio while leaving the property on the market, cease maintenance, let the value drop. This creates a 217-acre eyesore for the city, and as the years pass, taxes collect get smaller. Two, donate the property to a tax-exempt nonprofit if one can be found that will take on the responsibility of 217 acres and no one collects any taxes on the land.
Copeland executives are meeting to figure out their next move. If the company packs up or gives the land to a nonprofit, every local taxing district would lose out on the more than $1 million in real estate taxes the property brought in during 2024. A heads up for PlayStation users. Rachel Pearson has more.
A federal judge is weighing a proposed $7.8 million settlement tied to a lawsuit against Sony. It's over claims customers were overcharged for digital games. The case, filed in California, argues Sony restricted competition in its online marketplace. Now, the company denies that, and no wrongdoing's been proven. But the payout would cover gamers who bought certain digital titles with third-party vouchers before April 2019 and later saw prices go up. For now, no actions needed to be included, but if you want to opt out or object, you can do so by early July with a final court hearing still to come.
Mick Jagger, Keith Richards, and Ronnie Wood have been in the kitchen, so to speak, and now we know what they've been cooking up. A new album from the Rolling Stones.
1, 2, 3, and...
It's called Foreign Tongues, the Rolling Stones' 25th studio album set to hit July 10th. The follow-up to their Grammy-winning album, Hackneyed Diamonds. 2 tracks already out, including In the Stars. The band's re-teaming with producer Andrew Watt. The Stones say there will be a performance from their late drummer Charlie Watts from one of his last recording sessions. Other guests on the album include Paul McCartney and Steve Winwood. Matt Wolf, CBS News.
From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, for tonight, we've got showers and some storms. It'll be chilly, too, low 46. For tomorrow, sunshine after we get through some morning showers, high 58 degrees. Thursday, just sunshine, high 65. And right now, downtown at the Arch, we've got rain. It's 50, but the feels like is 43. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
Ouch! Checked from behind. Man, that's gotta hurt.
I'd hire Morgan & Morgan if I were them.
What?
Yeah, Dan, America's largest injury law firm. They serve up justice, ice, cold, law. Know what I mean?
I guess.
Their gloves come off when they fight for you.
Okay.
I'm talking a settlement slap shot.
Shouldn't we be talking about the game?
Yeah, Dan, Morgan & Morgan.
Proud partner of the St. Louis Blues. Injured? Dial Pound Law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
This is Congressman Bob Onder. Americans demanded border security, and House Republicans delivered. According to the Department of Homeland Security, for 10 consecutive months, U.S. Customs and Border Protection has reported 0 illegal aliens released at the border. I'm proud to have worked with the Trump administration to secure our southern border and uphold our immigration laws, and will keep fighting to advance strong policies that protect Missourians and keep America safe.
Paid for by official funds authorized by the House of Representatives.
For the last 33 years, you've discovered that at Banner Construction, we pride ourselves on quality craftsmanship. We believe the single most important decision homeowners must make when considering an exterior restoration project is who do you hire. At Banner, we provide well-engineered, meaningful, long-term solutions to transform your home into the pride of the neighborhood. Let us help you fall in love with your home all over again. Call or visit bannerconstruction.com and have a banner day. A Mother's Day to remember. Join us May 9th and 10th at Warm Springs Ranch for the Budweiser Clydesdales Parade of Champions. A never-before open-to-the-public chance to see our majestic stallions braided, polished, and showcased like true champions. Browse the gift shop and make a full day of it. Doors open at 9:30 a.m. Festivities run until 3 p.m. Enjoy live demonstrations and meet a Clydesdale up close. Tickets are limited. Go to warmspringsranch.com.
The NBA playoffs are ongoing, and they've been a lot of fun so far, and FanDuel is giving you better payouts on same-game parlays all NBA playoffs long. With more ways to build and more value every time you play, you can stack your picks your way for every game, every matchup, every moment, from spreads to player points to threes and more. Build it all into same-game parlays and go for bigger payouts. So if you're betting same-game parlays this NBA postseason, you're going to want to do it on FanDuel, an app that is super easy to use. It is secure. It's intuitive. I've been using it for a long time and really enjoy it. More options, better payouts, all NBA playoffs long. Head to FanDuel.com/Missouri to get started. FanDuel, an official partner of the NBA. Play your game. FanDuel.com/Missouri. Must be 21 or over and present in Missouri. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Just a reminder to have your air conditioner checked for the summer so you don't have a mishap and it goes down in the hottest day of the year. But it's always best to have it done. Call us, and we'll be more than happy to come out there and check it for you. And like always, if you're having your furnace checked by another company and you are told that this is the year you need to replace it, call me for a second opinion. The 0% interest is still available on most brands. Save your cash and keep your credit cards open and away from those high rates. Call me. You'll be glad you did. Bart Inman, one easy number in Missouri and Illinois. The easiest. It is 314-293-2600 or on the website bartinman.com. Now that's Bart with a B, Inman with an I.com. God bless.
My dad passed away unexpectedly. Of course, it was awful in every way, but we are very grateful that he had life insurance. So even after he was gone, he was still able to provide for us. And that's why I have life insurance for my family. Ethos.com. They make it fast and easy to get covered. It's 100% online. You get a quote in seconds, and you can apply in minutes and get covered the same day.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/protect. That's ethos.com/protect. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required. Rates
This is Matt Pauley inviting you to join me for Building Community with Busey Bank Beyond the Game. Thursday during the Redbird Rush Hour, we talk to an athletic trainer who has committed her life to making sure amateur athletes can perform at the highest level by keeping them healthy. Sponsored by Busey Bank.
Traffic from the MichaelsFlooringOutlet.com Traffic Center.
We just had a crash reported at Route 3 in Monsanto, and there's a jam southbound Route 3 from Monsanto down to Queenie, so somebody may have run into the back of the jam. Our emergency crews are on the way. While we're talking Illinois side, you still have heavy traffic eastbound 64, 111 through 157. Westbound 44 downtown, still delays between the bridges. Westbound 64, that's still slow from the Science Center out to Big Bend, Lindbergh out to 270. Backed up Winghaven through 364, then slow to 70 after that. Westbound Highway 70. The Rock Road headed out through our city, still kind of slow around Zumbel. TR Hughes through Highway K, almost to Bryan Road, and then A to Z out in Wentzville after that. South 270, Clayton Road, all the way down to 44, and then a little slow at Gravois busy. Westbound 44, we still have slow traffic from Lewis Road to 109, and it looks like we have trouble in Pacific, a minor crash or a stall. There's a bit of a jam building there. Of course, weather's part of the equation on some of these drives. Next update at 5:50 from the MichaelsFlooringOutlet.com Traffic Center.
It's cash for clunkers right now at St. Louis Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. Push it, pull it, drag it in, and get up to $4,500 for your trade. No matter the condition, turn that clunker into cash today. This offer won't last. St. Louis CDJR, your friends in the car business. Must qualify. See dealer for details.
Now, back to the Redbird Rush Hour on KMOX.
Sponsored by Busey Bank. Building community with Busey Bank. Beyond the game.
I'm Matt Pauley, Kevin Wheeler with you here on Redbird Rush Hour, and more baseball coming your way on Sports Open Line from 6 until 8 tonight. No Cardinals baseball. The game has been moved because of weather, so tomorrow will be the normal game. It'll be the normal 12:15 Wednesday game that was on the schedule, and then today's game moves to July 7th. It'll be part of a day-night doubleheader there. So you got it all set up. That's the play, but you got all kinds of baseball here on KMOX tonight. Let's get to the other clip on Dusty Blake, because we were talking about Dusty Blake joined Ollie Marmol and the guys, Bernie, Matt, and Chris, Boy, that's weird. I never call Ranji Chris. I just always call him Ranj or Ranji.
Yeah.
But on the Gas House Gang, Tuesdays are Ollie Day. He's on for a half an hour. And today, Dusty Blake joined and was talking about the last segment, mostly about the rotation, but also just in general, pitching to your strengths and not really focusing too much on what you can't do, but leaning into what you can. But he also talked about a couple other things.
He got specific about the bullpen, and the bullpen it's odd because the numbers overall aren't great, but they also haven't caused the team to lose that many. I looked it up the other day. The Cardinals' record in games where Ryan Stanek pitches, because he pitched yesterday, they're now 14-3 in games where Stanek appears. So, yes, an average Cardinals fan, the world is falling because of Ryan Stanek. They're 14-3 in games that he has appeared in. So the idea that Stanek is costing you games isn't really. I mean, he's not pitching great, but they're getting around it. And I think that's the point. And we've seen some things get a little bit better. And Dusty spent some time talking about the fact that the bullpen is indeed getting incrementally a little bit better.
Yeah, we're chipping away. When you look at, where we're at coming into the season, the workload that these guys have had at this level, there obviously wasn't a ton of experience out there. And with some of the guys that did have experience, there were some things that we would want to improve on and do a little better. So that's always a work in progress. I honestly felt like the spring went so well for most of them. It was really hard to dig in on some of these areas, but as the game and the season presented itself, having a chance to work through some of that now, it has been continued growth for these guys. I do like their passion for open-mindedness, not being rigid, learning from what the game tells us. And then, what's hard for these guys a lot of time at this level when you've got 40,000 plus, depending on the game situation, is like to accept where they're at, not that they need to stay there. But it's to say, I know I want to be a guy that can be this person for this staff and for this team, but right now this is where I'm at. And if I can accept that, then I can really make some positive steps forward, knowing that this is where I want to be. It doesn't mean I need to settle. It just means that we've got to have some really good self-awareness and understanding of this is what the game's telling me right now. And if I want to get to this point where this team can consistently rely on me and lean on me in big spots or in my lane as a bullpen reliever, this is what I need to be prepared to do. And as we get closer to that, I'm optimistic that we can see some of that consistency play out.
Sure hope so, because if you look at Stanek, he's doing a couple of things. First of all, he's striking people out. He's got a 26% strikeout rate. You need swing and miss, and you've got it to a degree. Riley O'Brien's actually gotten better on strikeout rate, so that's good. But you need guys that can miss bats in the back end, especially when your starters don't. So he's giving you that. And actually, he's had a lot of bad luck. I know people don't want to hear it, but he's the opposite of the starters. His ERA is 7.5. The expected ERA is 4.19. So he's got two problems. One is batted ball luck going against him. The other is he's got to stop walking people.
Yeah,
because right now when that bad luck happens, it's a 2-run single because he's walked two guys.
Right. If he's given up a hit an inning, you can deal with it until it's a hit and a walk in
yes.
inning. There's a big difference between a whip of 1 and a whip of 2.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the difference right now with him. He's now some of that damage has been mitigated by his strikeouts.
Yeah.
But just too many base runners.
Yeah, and I think the batted ball luck thing, I think, will handle itself. He's just got to stop walking people.
Yeah.
If he does that, he will be the guy you thought he should be. He'll be the 4 ERA guy that can come in and strike people out.
Well, I think a lot of people
which is basically what he is.
Yeah, but I think a lot of people thought he was going to be more than that.
Well, but he really hasn't been for 3 or 4 years.
That's true.
He was 3 or 4 years ago, that guy. He had one year where he was just amazing. Like a 180 ERA or whatever. But, what he is now is similar to what he was last year. As long as you take out the walks.
Right.
If he cuts the walks to a normal rate for him, not even a great rate, just a normal rate for him, you'll see that ERA be where it should be, which is basically, to me, he's a high 3s, low 4s guy.
He has 1 walk in his last 3 outings.
It's a good sign.
His ERA has gone from 9 to 7.2.
It's a good sign.
Right.
On the other side is Matt Swanson. There's just not much good there. The real numbers are not good. The strikeout rate is down from 29% last year to 18%. The walk rate is up from 8.5 to 13.5. And his ERA is 9.68, which is jarring His expected ERA is 7.69, so it's not like he's gotten all kinds of bad luck. And the expected numbers against him are still some of the worst in baseball. Like, if you look at expected weighted on base, it's one of the worst in baseball. And for those that don't want to dig into it, it's just kind of a catch-all number that tells you how much you're giving up in terms of power, walks, the whole deal.
He's given up a ton of hits, batting average against 320.
Yeah, and then when you throw in, a 13.5% walk rate, which is crazy high. That to me, those guys are similar. He'll get better if he stops walking people too, but he's got a contact problem. Stanek doesn't really.
No, he doesn't.
He doesn't really have a problem with how much hard contact he's given up. There's more than you would think for a guy that throws as hard as he does, but he's also had some bad luck in that regard, and Swanson really hasn't. Now you're kind of scrambling, right? Like, okay, we've got, Graceffo's got some concerning underlying stuff, but he's gotten the job done. Fernandez looked great. Can't wait to get him back here because he really looked like the guy from a couple of years ago, and hopefully he can maintain it. But, yeah, it's a bit of a dance around Justin Brule and Jared Schuster and some of the other guys.
Yeah, right. And right now you trust O'Brien. You're continuing to trust Romero, even though he had a little bit of a speed bump.
As long as he's not overworked, he's fine.
Yeah, exactly. And they're still giving Stanek the 7th inning. That's so it's still kind of Stanek, Romero, O'Brien, and you would just really like to have somebody else in there. I think George Soriano's going to get more of those opportunities.
And he's been okay. Like, to me, he's one of the in-betweens. He's neither terrible nor great, but he's encouraging in the sense that it's a guy that has potential. And he's a guy that throws upper 90s. And if he can be a bit of a better strike thrower, and I'm talking about compared to where he's been in past seasons. Because what's always undone him is the fact that he walks too many guys. Here's the crazy part, though. He right now has the worst walk rate of his career. And he also has the lowest strikeout rate of his career. But he's doing okay. And even some of the underlying stuff is okay.
He is, I judge, I've talked about this before. I judge relief pitchers on basically percent of effective outings, not so much ERA, because I think that tells you sometimes ERA doesn't tell the whole story, and some other numbers don't tell the whole story. Soriano has appeared in 16 games this year. He has only given up runs in, I believe, 4 of them. It's either 4 or 5 of them, and only given up more than 1 run once.
Yeah.
He has been so
for relievers,
good.
You definitely need to track the blow-up games.
Yeah.
Because that's what changes your ERA typically. That's why I like expected ERA better. That's why I like fielding independent a little bit better. But it's also why I just like to track the exact number of just here's how many blow-up games you've had. I may look at it the reverse that you do, but it's the same idea. You're looking at the positive side of it. I'm just looking at how many bad ones. Because if you've had 40 outings and you've had 3 bad ones, you've had a good year.
Kevin's glass half full, Matt's glass half full.
Actually, but I'm looking for the low number, though. I want the low number on that. All right, a little more on the cards before we wrap it up and get ready for Sports Open Line here at Redbird Rush Hour. Most sellers put their home on the market, and they just wait to see what happens. Well, I'm Kevin Wheeler, and I'm here with Gloria Liu with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. And Gloria, is there a better way to sell?
There is. Instead of listing your home the traditional way and hoping for the right buyer, I can get you up to 8 competitive cash offers right from the start. That means you're not guessing what your home might sell for. You're looking at the real offers and choosing the one that works the best for you. It also helps you to set the right price and create stronger demand if you decide to go to market. It gives you control, leverage, and a clear path forward before you accept just any offer. And remember, I'll guarantee to sell your home at 100% of the market value, or I'll pay you the difference.
Before you sell your home, see what your options are. Call the one that I trust. That's Gloria Liu, 314-325-6888, or visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com. That's GloriaHasTheBuyers.com. Gloria and seller must agree on price and possession.
Spring is here. Hi, this is Tim Gamma.
And I'm Tom Gamma.
When it comes to tree care, call the name you can trust. Gamma Tree Experts, founded by our dad, Frank Gamma, in 1954.
Frank will be 91 this year, and the 3rd generation of Gammas have joined the business.
Call our team of certified arborists to inspect your trees and shrubs today. Knowledge and quality are hallmarks of our reputation. Now in our 72nd year.
For pruning, fertilization, and removal, call Gamma Tree Experts today or visit us at gammatree.com.
Your trees deserve the best care.
Hey Missouri, it's game time. Start betting like a pro with the world's largest sports book at your fingertips. Hi, I'm Derek Stevens. I'm a lifelong sports bettor and I'm the owner of Circus Sports. It's sports betting the way it should be, with high limits, player-friendly pricing, exceptional customer service, and more. Download your new bookie at circusports.com. The action starts now, Missouri. Experience the difference with Circus Sports. Bet like a pro.
Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Traffic from the MichaelsFlooringOutlet.com Traffic Center.
Well, they called out EMS for this crash I mentioned earlier on 44. It's westbound 44, east of Pacific. The right lane's closed. It's an overturned vehicle off the roadway. A little bit of a jam up there. And it's also slow westbound 44, west of Lewis to 109. Other than that, westbound 64, you still got heavy traffic. The Science Center headed out through Clayton Skinker. South 170 from the Parkway to 64 is heavy. Eastbound 64, 170 to Big Bend. Slow. Westbound 64, the ramp to North 270. Those ramp lanes are backed up. Westbound 64 in St. Charles County is on the brakes. Winghaven to 364. Then it's slow out to 70. Westbound Highway 70 just has a little slowdown both sides of Highway K, and then right at 61 briefly. On the Illinois side, eastbound 64 just 255 to 157 slow, and eastbound 70 just past the Musel Veterans Bridge, a bit of backup. I'm Roger Brand in the MichaelsFlooringOutlet.com Traffic Center.
Now, back to the Redbird Rush Hour on KMOX.
Sponsored by Busey Bank. Building community with Busey Bank. Beyond the game.
5:52 at KMOX. The time check brought to you by Paramount Men's Medical Center.
All right, a few minutes left on Redbird Rush Hour, and then Sports Open Line with the Cardinals game rained out tonight, and they moved that to July 7th. Tomorrow, just a normal scheduled game at 12:15. What do you got tonight?
Yeah, we got a lot of stuff. So we have this running bit with our friend Joe Roderick that anytime the Cardinals get rained out, he's on. So he's going to lead us off. Jordan Williams from Channel 2 is going to be on. Rob Raines is going to be on. Tim Dillard, former Brewers pitcher and current Brewers TV analyst, is going to be on. So we filled it up tonight on a last-second show.
Show must go on, buddy.
Yeah.
That's the way it goes. All right. Any last thoughts on things we haven't covered? I think, I mentioned this, and I want to give credit to Ricky Horton because he mentioned something really interesting today, Matt. Because I've been going over the last few days, like, why are the Cardinals so much better? And this is not rocket science. Just kind of like getting into the details. It's that you've gone from the bottom of the league to near the top of the league in home runs. That has led you're top 10 in runs, home runs, on-base percentage, OPS, slugging percentage, like literally all the big old-school numbers. You're in the top 10 in Major League Baseball. That helps you win a lot of games when you're hitting the ball for power and you're driving in runs. The athleticism, I think, is better on this year's team than it was a year ago, even with some of the same guys, because you've taken out the least athletic guys, and you took one guy who isn't unathletic, but he's probably a better fit at first than in the outfield in Alec Burleson.
Yeah.
So now your outfield, there's no question that Church is light years more mobile than Newt was last year. Not talking about peak Newt when Newt's healthy, but he was not healthy last year. He was slowed, and it was either him or Burleson in left field last year. Well, Church is better than both, so you're way more athletic there. You're getting a better version of Walker in the outfield, I think in part because he's just calm instead of down on himself. You're getting JJ, who's a more athletic version than what Donovan was, because, again, Donovan was banged up. He's not the most athletic guy, Donovan. I mean, like, combination of speed, agility, and all that. But he's a good athlete, but not at what the level that Weatherholt was, especially last year. So when you think of that, and a healthy Mason Wynn adds some athleticism in the middle infield, where he's already that, but he was hurt a lot last year. You're just in a position where those things matter. But I got to give Ricky Horton credit, because he also made the point that we've talked about before, but more off the record. The things that the Cardinals lacked in the past now exist. Proper staffing, extra eyes on things, better technology. All of these things combined explain why they're better, even though they sold off Wilson Contreras, Nolan Arenado, Sonny Gray, and all that.
Yeah, so let's apply this to the on-field side of it, because the main reason they're winning more games is because of all that big stuff you mentioned.
Yeah.
But then there is some winning on the margins going on as well, where some of those up-in-the-air games are going your way. And they're doing things like smart base running. They're doing things like throwing to the right bag. They're making good decisions. A lot of that can be traced back to the better instruction, the more instructors, the technology, all that. So they're winning a lot of games with the big stuff. They're winning smaller games with the small stuff, but it all matters.
Yep, and that's where it is now. Will it be there in another 3 months? Who the hell knows? That's why we're here. Here's the old cliche. That's why they play the games.
Yeah.
We're going to find out if it's going to last. We don't need to decide that now, but we can enjoy it now because it's been a hell of a lot of fun.
It has been.
Buddy, have a good show tonight.
All right.
Sports Open Line is coming up next with Matt Pauley here on KMOX.
You know, here in St. Louis, word of mouth still matters, and I'm pretty careful about who I recommend, especially when it comes to something as personal as estate planning. I'm Tom Ackerman. My family has been working with the Lederman Law Firm for over 20 years now, and the reason is simple. They don't just create documents and send you on your way. They help make sure your plan works. Because let's be honest, life changes. Family needs and circumstances change. Laws change. But most estate plans don't change over time as needs, circumstances, and laws change. They're outdated, sitting in a drawer. People assume they're fine, and their plan will work when they need it to work. At the Lederman Law Firm, it's not a one-time transaction. It's an ongoing process. They build a plan to protect your family and your assets, and then for a fixed annual fee, they help keep it up to date as both your life and assets change. Check out the Lederman Law Firm at LedermanLaw.com or give them a call at 314-514-9100. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
Deer season is here at Seidenstricker Nobe Partners. If you've been thinking about a new mower, gator, or compact tractor, May is the time to take a look. Get cash off new select John Deere equipment, plus affordable finance options to help make your purchase even easier. Bring home dependable equipment built for the season ahead. Come see us at any of our S&P dealerships or visit snpartners.com. Seidenstricker Nobe, your partner for the land.
Offer valid through 6/3/2026. Some restrictions apply. See dealer for details.
On Saturday, May 16th, join KMOX and Grassroots Redeeming Love in commemorating 1 year since the historic EF3 tornado that devastated North St. Louis with a short morning of service. Volunteers will meet in the Kingsway East interested in donating to the effort. Go to KMOX.com/events for more information.
Ready for instant curb appeal that comes with a 25-year transferable warranty? Call Rhino Shield today. We do brick, block, stucco, asbestos, aluminum, steel, cedar, and more. Over the past 20 years, we've done thousands of homes, businesses, churches, schools, condos, parking garages, large metal buildings, and strip malls, from Champaign to the Lake of the Ozarks. We do flat and sloped metal roofs to extend their lives too. Proud to be veteran-owned and manufactured in the good old USA, so we're tariff-free. We're exceeding expectations every day. Evaluations are free. A+ rated with the BBB and a lot of 5-star Google reviews. Call 877-25-RHINO, 877-25-RHINO, or 877-25rhino.com. See what we did there? Genius. Tell them, ladies.
Don't paint, don't Rhino. Go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Traffic from the MichaelsFlooringOutlet.com Traffic Center.
Well, they're still dealing with this crash on westbound 44. First of all, westbound 44 west of Lewis to 109 is still slow, and then you have a little bit of a jam up westbound 44 before you hit Pacific. There's an overturned van off the roadway. They did have the right lane blocked. Now they're just on the right shoulder, but everybody's getting out of that right lane. Heavier rain and visibility restrictions, so there's still a bit of a jam up there because of it. Westbound 64, you've got heavy traffic from about Hampton headed out through Bellevue. Then it opens up in St. Charles County, though. Still a couple of short backups west of Winghaven to 364, and then it's still slow all the way out to Highway 70. Westbound Highway 70 from K midway to Bryan Road is kind of off the pace and approaching 61 most of the way out to Wentzville Parkway again. It's just kind of slow running through there. Southbound 55 looks good. Eastbound 70 still a short backup through Packers Avenue and 64 a little slow east to 255. From the MichaelsFlooringOutlet.com Traffic Center.
Celebrating 100 years of informing and entertaining. KMOX AM St. Louis, KMOX FM Hazelwood, the voice of St. Louis.
This is CBS News on the Hour, your home for original reporting.
I'm Jennifer Kuiper. On this second day of the U.S. military guiding stranded ships in the Strait of Hormuz, President Trump has just said on social media that he's pausing the U.S.'s Project Freedom to help ships leave that strait. Earlier today, Secretary of State Marco Rubio stressed the mission is not an offensive operation.
This is a defensive operation. And what that means is very simple. There's no shooting unless we're shot at first. Okay? We're not attacking them. But if they're attacking us or they're attacking a ship, you need to respond to that.
The U.S. and its Gulf allies have proposed a U.N. resolution threatening Iran with sanctions or other measures if it does not stop attacks on ships in the Strait of Hormuz, stop imposing illegal tolls, and disclose the placement of all mines. The BBC's Chris Barrow says of the cruise ship where a deadly virus has killed 3 people and sickened some others.
The Dutch operator of a cruise ship at the centre of a deadly hantavirus outbreak says 2 specialised aircraft are en route to Cape Verde, where the vessel is anchored to evacuate 2 sick crew members to the Netherlands. 3 people have died, with 2 of the deaths caused by hantavirus.
Tennessee is among the latest southern states to consider redrawing congressional maps. Republican Governor Bill Lee has called Tennessee lawmakers into a special session to consider a plan that could break up the state's lone Democratic-held U.S. House district centered on the majority black city of Memphis. CBS's Nicole Valdez.
One of the main concerns here is what impact this will have on the upcoming midterm elections, recognizing that those candidates who have already qualified and that qualification deadline has long passed will now have to re-qualify, and their campaigns will now have to extend to a much different group of people.
President Trump is bringing back the Presidential Fitness Test Award.
The president signed a proclamation to revive the program that measured students' overall physical fitness.
Grade schoolers across the country competed against each other.
The test was used in public schools for decades and included a mile run, sit-ups, push-ups, and more. But during the Obama administration, the program shifted focus from competition to personal health goals. But now,
we're bringing it back. My administration's working very hard to defend America's cherished athletic traditions.
Stacey Lynn, CBS News, Washington.
The verdict is in for former Patriots receiver Stephon Diggs in a case in which he was accused of assaulting his private chef in a pay dispute. The judge asking the jury foreperson,
on count 1, strangulation or suffocation, what is your verdict? Guilty or not guilty?
Not guilty.
On count 2, the charge of assault and battery, what is your verdict? Guilty or not guilty?
Not guilty.
Diggs' attorney said he denied the charges. This is CBS News.
Every Sunday, moderator Margaret Brennan goes face-to-face with top leaders to make you better informed. Face the Nation, Sunday on CBS and streaming on Paramount+.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. No, we're not one of the big guys. Truth is, we don't want to be. If you're over 50, Big Wireless probably has you paying for more data than you might need. You could be throwing away thousands over a lifetime.
Our entry-level data plans start at just $20 a month. And for a limited time, switch and get your second month free. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com or a store near you and get your second month free today. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional details.
It's your captain speaking. To the passenger with the Mirror Fast soft shoes, smart move.
No way am I letting travel constipation ruin this trip.
Can't blame you. Mirror Fast works fast, but without the harsh side effects.
Since I'm such a smart traveler, can I move to first class?
No. Close the curtain, Carol.
From the makers of Miralax, new Mirafast soft chews work naturally with your body in as little as 30 minutes to give you a comfortable go on the go. Find Mirafast today at your local retailer. Use as directed for occasional constipation. Contains magnesium hydroxide.
At 6:04, we've got rain. It is 49 degrees, but the feels like is 41 downtown at the Arch. St. Charles is holding a public meeting next hour to discuss a data center ban. The ban would prohibit large-scale data centers in the city of St. Charles, but small-scale spaces would be allowed. The move comes after a large data center was debated last year, but it did not go through. St. Charles enacted a one-year moratorium on data centers last year, but the council is holding a public hearing on the potential long-term ban tonight at 7.
I'm not saying we're at a crisis, but this is definitely a tipping point.
St. Louis County Executive Sam Page is now putting specifics on the table after months of raising the idea of consolidation in more general terms. Page today named the services he thinks could be targeted, merging some of the county's 54 separate police departments, combining 911 dispatch operations, and unifying the city and county libraries.
I believe that the community will engage in these conversations because they have a choice to make. Cut core services, which nobody wants, find new sources of revenue, which people are seriously considering, or consolidate the way we deliver these services and save money.
Page says more than 650 residents submitted ideas through a county survey, and he is in talks with Mayor Kara Spencer about next steps.
I hope I can work with the city manager to really get businesses into that building.
That's Ferguson Mayor Adrian Shropshire trying to find a silver lining after casting the deciding vote to kill a $1.8 billion data center project. The 3-3 tie blocked the proposed tax incentives for SSL investments. Neighbors spent hours arguing it wasn't worth any health risks, and now the city has to try to sell the site to someone else. But Ernesto Segura, an attorney for the rejected developer, warns that the current owners might just walk away from the real estate altogether.
Copeland is considering donating the campus
to a nonprofit, I don't think anybody wants that to happen. The developer team doesn't. I know the city doesn't, because that does mean that regardless of 24 taxes or 25 taxes, 26 and 27 and 28 will be zeros. And that doesn't help anybody.
That $0 scenario would be devastating not just for City Hall, but for the Ferguson-Florissant School District and the library, which rely on that commercial revenue. Any expanded transportation bill? It has been passed by the Missouri House.
If passed, the bill would raise the speed limit on Missouri's rural interstate highways to 75 miles per hour. It also includes a proposal to end most vehicle inspections in the state. St. Louis County Democrat Michael Burton speaking before a vote on the amended measure.
Could you imagine if one of your grandkids was killed in a vehicle accident, and after the investigation they find the car that killed your grandchild was not fit for the road? That there was a huge crack in the windshield and the brakes were so worn down that the driver couldn't stop? That's the reason your loved one died?
Meanwhile, Republicans argue most vehicles on the road are advanced enough to make inspections unnecessary. The bill now goes back to the Missouri Senate for more work. Ivy Lyons, KMOX News.
The merger that would put Channel 5 under the same owner as Channels 2 and 11 is facing another challenge. FCC Chairman Brendan Carr now says his agency's earlier approval of the Nexstar-Tegna deal is not necessarily final. A broadband industry group is asking all 3 FCC commissioners to formally review and potentially reverse the staff-level approval. That's on top of an antitrust lawsuit from 13 state attorneys general and DirecTV, and a federal judge's order that's still keeping the 2 companies legally separate for now. 6:07, let's get you to Roger Brand and find out on this rainy evening how the roads are looking.
Well, not bad for most folks, Mike, but we still have some trouble. In fact, we still have the right lane blocked, westbound 44, east of Pacific, that overturned van. The flatbed's on the scene. There's a short jam, not even midway back to Six Flags, but there is a jam, so pay attention as you get over the hills there, headed for Pacific on westbound 44. Westbound 44 is also a little slow from the Merrimack just west of Lewis toward 109. If you're on westbound 64, it looks a little slow from Maryville Center to 141, and it's still busy from 364 out to 70. 78 is in the Wentzville area is kind of heavy. Eastbound 70, a little slow at Packers Avenue, and 64 passing 157. Again, a little slow up the hill through the work zone. I'm Roger Brand in the MichaelsFlooringOutlet.com Traffic Center.
Hard to tell. It is the month of May as our blackberry winter pattern settles in. It is kind of cold and unsettled and wet out across the St. Louis area. Scattered showers and a couple of non-severe thunderstorms will continue well into the night. It's chilly. It's chilly now. 46 for the overnight low. Wednesday, we could have an early morning leftover shower. Otherwise, it's a dry day, partly sunny, though it's a cool day, 58. Wednesday night, partly cloudy and chilly again, 42. Thursday, sunny skies, 65, 48 Thursday night. Friday, partly sunny, 75. A couple of spotty showers late in the day Friday, and especially in Friday night. We'll warm up a little bit on Saturday. Some more showers and thunderstorms on Saturday night, and then a little bit cooler on Sunday. A lot going on. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Dave Murray on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
And again, the Cardinals game for this evening has been postponed. They were scheduled to play the Milwaukee Brewers tonight. They'll make it up Tuesday, July 7th at 1:15. Already scheduled to play at 6:45 that day, so it will be a doubleheader. And a live look at the radar shows rain pretty much everywhere across the region, from O'Fallon to O'Fallon, from Bowling Green to Farmington. Right now it's 50, feels like 42 downtown at the Arch. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
Come on, let's get going now.
From KMOX Sports.
We're primed and ready. All day, baby. Man, let's go.
This is the Gray Bar Sports Open Line. Gray Bar, your distributor for electrical and datacom needs. On 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Well, hello there. We were not expecting to have a show tonight. We were expecting to be playing some baseball. We were expecting to be right in the middle of our Cardinals pregame show right now, but that is not to be, as due to the bad weather and the expected continuing bad weather, The decision was made by the Cardinals today to postpone tonight's Cardinals game against the Brewers, and tonight's game will be made up as part of a doubleheader, a split doubleheader on July 7th, when there will be one game at 1:15 and then a second game at 6:45. By the way, we do get questions about tickets. I know it's going to be a while out by the time we get to July 7th. But if you did have tickets for tonight's game, the tickets for tonight's game will be good for the 1:15 start on July 7th, because that's going to be the makeup. And then Cardinals and Brewers are going to wrap up what is now a 2-game series coming up tomorrow afternoon at the ballpark. And we, of course, will have that for you right here on KMOX. We didn't have a lot of time to put together this show. That's all right. We've got a very solid group of guests that are going to be on today. If you follow along, we know we've got a little bit of a gimmick. We've got kind of a thing we do, and I'm not trying to be dismissive of our good friend Joe Roderick, but anytime the Cardinals get rained out, we have Joe Roderick on. In fact, I'll read you my text messages with Joe today, which was fun. So I said to Joe, "Hi, Joe," and he said, "Yep, what time?" So we know the gimmick. We're going to keep it up. And yeah, if the Cardinals get rained out, you can expect Joe Roderick to be appearing here on Sports Open Line. We're going to talk with Jordan Williams, sports anchor, sports reporter over at Channel 2. He's going to join us at about 6:35. Next hour, Rob Raines is going to be with us, longtime Cardinals beat writer for STLSportspage.com. And then also next hour, we're going to be joined by former Brewers pitcher and current TV analyst for Brewers TV. Tim Dillard is going to join us. He's going to be with us at about 7:20. So that's what's on tap. We'll open up the phone lines as well a little bit in the 7 o'clock hour after we get done talking with Tim. We'll give you an opportunity to chime in. I was thinking about this, and we just barely touched on this during Redbird Rush Hour. I was thinking about this last night because if you remember last year, and I've brought this up a few times, last year the Cardinals did not have a very good April, and then they had an amazing May. May was awesome. That was when I remember there was a day where Nolan Arenado was talking, and he mentioned the fact that for the first time in a while, he felt like the team was going to win every time they came to the ballpark. Like, the vibes were good. Vibes were really good at that point. They played themselves into playoff position at that point. Just everything looked good. And that ends up being their only winning month last year. They had one 500 month. They had May, and then every other month they had a losing record. So it wasn't real. It wasn't real what happened in May last year. I enjoyed the heck out of it. I loved it. I enjoyed that month, and I enjoyed, even once May ended and it started to fall back because they'd put themselves in position, it took a while until they were just, it was, if they would have had a better 2 weeks before the trade deadline, they could have played themselves in position to possibly be buying at the deadline and not selling at the deadline. So the cushion that they had built themselves in the month of May was still there into the month of July until it finally got to a point where it wasn't there anymore, and then they sold off at the deadline. So I enjoyed it. Was it real? It wasn't real. I am enjoying this right now. I am really enjoying this right now. I love going to the ballpark. I love watching this team play. I love everything about what's going on right now. I don't know if it's real or not. I would argue right now, but again, I can be a prisoner of the moment. I would argue right now that this seems more real than what last year was, but I can't transport myself to where I was at last year and try to compare the two feelings. So that's where we're at, and we'll see if it keeps on going. But I no matter what, I know the style of play that this team is going to play. I thought it was interesting last night. Somebody asked Oliver Marmol a question in the post-game media session. I forget who asked, but Ollie, the idea of the question was, this team started this series against the Brewers and continued to play baseball at a certain level, in a certain style, a certain way. I'm paraphrasing. This isn't the exact way the question was asked. It was probably asked much better than this. And Ollie essentially said that he is relying on, he wants the team to be held to that standard. And that's the thing. Like if the team starts to fall off of that, then that can become a talking point, and rightfully so. And they are holding themselves to a high level right now. And again, I don't think the high level is connected to wins and losses. The wins and losses are a result of the way they are trying to play. So if they go out and do everything that they can control on any given night, they're going to win more often than they lose. That doesn't mean they're always going to win. They did that against Seattle. They didn't win a single one of those games against the Mariners. But that doesn't mean that they did not play in that style. And they continue to play that way, and they swept a series from the Pirates. They took 2 or 3 from the Dodgers, and they played a whale of a ball game yesterday, and they opened up a series with a win against the Brewers, and they remain undefeated in divisional play. This is the first time divisional play has been around for a while in Major League Baseball. We're going back even before the NL Central existed. We're talking when the Cardinals were an NL East team. The Cardinals have never been 5-0 in divisional play since divisional play began in the scheduling. So they're doing some stuff right now that they just have not done before. Joe Roderick is our friend. He does a great job over at STL Sports Central. He is going to join us coming up in just a moment. Don't go anywhere. You are locked in to a Gray Bar Sports Open Line on KMOX.
Want to hear a shocking statistic? Medical malpractice is the 3rd leading cause of death in America. Don't believe it? Google it. And that doesn't count serious injuries like birth injuries to perfectly healthy children. All doctors wear white jackets, but it doesn't make them all the same. Most medical errors are committed by the same quacks over and over again. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Many hospitals looking for more profits are forcing doctors and their groups to be employees of the hospital or be forced out of their system. It's a troubling trend in medicine. People make mistakes, but medical mistakes are huge and often forever. If you believe your child suffered a birth injury or a misdiagnosis or mistake led to a loved one's death or injury, let our team of medical malpractice lawyers examine your case for free. No recovery, no fee. Morgan & Morgan, for the people.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. Past results afford no guarantee of future results. Every case is different and must be judged on its own merits.
Guys, Kevin Wheeler here. I want to tell you about the Burn Balance Complex, which is available at supplement superstores. And it's Burn Balance Edge for the guys. It's Burn Balance Zen for the women. And what this is very simply a complete metabolism system. It's not just a simple fat burner. It's way more than that. It works with your body to get the metabolism working the way that it's supposed to. So what you notice right away, what I've noticed here in the first couple of months is your shirt will lay a little bit flatter, your pants fit a little bit looser. It's not like that as immediate, but it comes pretty fast. This is a great natural weight loss option for people that don't want prescriptions or injections. If those aren't for you, go to supplement superstores and check out the Burn Balance Complex. On top of getting the metabolism working, you're going to get reduced stress with lower cortisol levels. You're going to have appetite control and craving control, all-day focused energy without the jitters that come with energy drinks. And look, it's not magic. You got to do things the right way, but the Burn Balance Complex makes it so much easier. So get out to supplement superstores. Tell them Kevin Wheeler sent you in. They will knock 30% off the Burn Balance Complex for you right there, and you can find your location at supplementsuperstores.com.
A common question I receive is, how is the market right now? It just seems so volatile. Hi, I'm Christina Straight, owner of Straight Realty. If you want to buy or sell but feel overwhelmed by the whiplash of the market, then let's talk. With over 23 years as a broker, I have the exact experience you need to help you navigate this tricky market. Call me at 314-441-4444. 314-441, all fours. And remember, why pay more than 2?
Commissions are not regulated and are negotiable. Straight Realty is a licensed broker in the state of Missouri.
Stan Musial. He missed a season in his prime to serve his country in the Navy.
Honor a legend on Saturday, May 16th when the Cardinals face the Kansas City Royals. Fans can secure a Stan Musial military bobblehead presented by Coca-Cola and Deerbirds. This patriotic collectible celebrates Stan's Hall of Fame career and his service to our country. A true symbol of character on and off the field. A tribute worth displaying and remembering. Don't miss it. Get tickets and details at cardinals.com/promotions.
Some Sundays are made for the water. Sunday, May 17th, as the Cardinals take on the Kansas City Royals, make it a ballpark day too. That day, you can score a Cardinals boat tote presented by Coca-Cola and Walmart. A classic summer bag that fits right in from the dock to the dugout. It's ready for long weekends, sunny afternoons, and whatever plans you have next. Get tickets now at cardinals.com/promotions.
With summer here and the kids home full-time, your garage door will see a lot more use. Do it a favor with annual maintenance from Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. The 26-point tune-up is one price for up to 3 garage doors and openers. Get them all done. Trusted in St. Louis for 100 years. Always look for the genuine, the original red ribbon of Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. Since 1926, they're never going to steer you wrong. Schedule online at overheaddoorsstlouis.com.
Built on a century, focused on today. The voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
Back at it on KMOX. It is a Gray Bar Sports Open Line, an unexpected Gray Bar Sports Open Line, because we were thinking baseball was going to get played in about 25 minutes, but instead the Cardinals and the Brewers are going to play a game here later on this year. At one point, we thought there might be a doubleheader tomorrow. That is not happening. Instead, it's going to be a doubleheader later on in the year. With that, we always bring this guy on. If the Cardinals get rained out for whatever reason, we bring on Joe Roderick. It started just kind of organically, and now we make it happen. He is from STL Sports Central. Hi, Joe. How are you?
How do we not have this sponsored yet, Matt? We need to figure out a way to monetize this.
I agree. You know what? And my bosses would agree. Your bosses would agree. Like there's no way everybody would agree that monetization is a good thing.
Yeah, we'll get those people together and figure out how to make some money off of this.
Okay, very good. You and I were texting earlier, and it was when I thought we were going to have a doubleheader tomorrow, and it's not going to happen that way. There seemed to be a lot of ideas that were being thrown around before the final plan of making this up as a doubleheader on July 7th is going to actually happen. But you and I were talking about the idea of, hey, you know what? Maybe this is going to be the chance for the Cardinals to bring Hunter Dobbins back up, but that is not to be had.
Yeah, I thought, if there's any time that the Cardinals would want a doubleheader, it's when you could have Hunter Dobbins throw on full rest. And I believe that would have been the case. Like, he pitched last Thursday in Pittsburgh, so I would have thought that he wouldn't have thrown yet down in Memphis and would have been good to go. And who knows what the roster looks like in July. And 5-game series are always fun, right? Because that is a 4-game series now with a doubleheader added in, so it makes it a 5-game series, I believe, in July. So that'll be, man, that's going to be worth a lot of games hopefully by that point.
It will be, and that's the part of this that actually kind of bums me out a little bit, because I feel much better right now about how the Cardinals are playing than how the Brewers are playing. The Brewers tend to turn things on at some point as the year goes along. So I'm hopeful from a Cardinal standpoint that a win does not turn into a loss because of when this is being rescheduled.
Right, but I mean, last night they get Jackson Churio back, first at bats of the year, and he just goes 4 for 4. Like, you aren't supposed to do that. You're supposed to have some sort of feeling out process to face major league pitching and get back into the swing of things. And he just comes out and hits a couple doubles and doesn't make it out in the game. So it just seems a little unfair. I haven't seen. I don't know. Maybe you have or not. I don't know if it's been announced yet. But do the Cardinals now? Do they miss Mizorowski now tomorrow, or how is that going to work?
Yeah, we were actually John Camp, our producer, was just sitting in here and talking about that. I would assume that's going to be the case. I don't know if the official starters have been. Let me see if they've been. Yeah, right now they still have it as Palante and Sproat. So yeah, it would appear that the Cardinals are going to miss Mizorowski unless the Brewers make a last-second decision to go with him. But
right,
Joe, hold on.
I don't want to speak. I don't. Oh, yeah.
One other thing. Mizorowski was not listed as the probable for tomorrow anyways. They were listing that as a TBA on the notes yesterday. So I don't know if the Cardinals for sure are going to see him anyways.
Yeah, because he had left their last start early. Claves and I, when we were doing our show Monday morning, we were talking about that and whether or not they would miss it. I don't want to, I don't want to do any kind of general managing for the Brewers or not, but I feel like he should have probably skipped that start against the Cardinals anyway because he was hurt. It would have been best for them if Mizorowski just did not start against the St. Louis Cardinals.
I am, as we speak, in real time, I am bringing up today's game notes just in case. No, the Brewers had still listed tomorrow as a TBA as of the game notes that were released today.
Okay, well, good. So it's nice though. In the 17-day stretch, like if you're going to have a rainout, last year was such a mess with all these rainouts and all the doubleheaders, and it worked because you had McGreevy down there, you had Matz in the early part of the season, so the Cardinals made it work. Ollie made it work with the bullpen and everything. But in the midst of a 17-game stretch, with the teams that they're playing in the 17-game stretch too, they're not playing the Rockies or the Angels right now. Like they're playing legit, very good baseball teams. But having a day off probably isn't the worst thing right now in this stretch.
No, it's certainly not the worst thing in the world. I agree with you there, and this was going to be a really tough stretch for this team. It gives you a chance to fully reset the bullpen. They had to use Riley O'Brien yesterday, only threw a few pitches, so it wasn't a big deal, but just you've got everybody back ready to go tomorrow, and then you're able to continue to move on. And I mean, they're going to play a really good San Diego team coming up later on this week as well, so this has implications for that series coming up too.
I'm excited for the series this weekend against the Padres because, and much like the Dodger series, it's a measuring stick because there are still so many people that are on the fence about the car. I was just texting with Matt Snyder of CBS Sports. I was texting with him about a half an hour ago because he wrote an article. Bernie kind of wrote a little bit about it too on our site about whether or not the Cardinals are for real. And I know the MLB power rankings had the Cardinals 9th this week. Who would have thought that in May you would have said the Cardinals were a top 10 team after everything that was said about them in spring training? And you have people that are buying in short term, but still not buying in long term. And we saw them. They were 6 games over 500 in May of last year. They were on a nice little stretch of wins last year. There are people in the national media that are still waiting for the bottom to fall out of this. And I'm around this team. You are around this team every single day, and you see what goes on in that clubhouse, and you talk to these guys more than anybody, Matt. There are a bunch of kids that just are having so much fun playing baseball that I don't know if they would. I mean, they're just kind of immune to going out there and having a bad stretch right now. They're just out there having so much fun, and I don't know why that would stop.
Yeah, I guess I got caught up into it last May. I'll admit I was totally caught up in it last May, and then the bottom did fall out a little bit. This feels different than what it did last year for the reasons that you just mentioned. I guess the only thing that would worry me is if a bunch of dominoes get pushed over and they're all bad dominoes, and eventually there's enough bad stuff that happens that then it kind of knocks them off their course. That would be the only thing that would. But I also think this is going to be a roller coaster season no matter what. Just when you look at the makeup of this team and the talent and everything. So I don't know. I like what I'm seeing right now. I'm caught up in it again, and that's fine. I'm going to enjoy it as long as it goes on, and I hope it goes on all season.
Yeah, and I do. The bullpen will blow games. I think that'll happen. There will be games where they just can't get runs going like we saw on Sunday. They just couldn't get the offense going. But if you look at it, Riley O'Brien and Gordon Graceffo, they over the last 4 days or so, they've had bad outings, and the Cardinals still won both of those games. Jojo Romero wasn't the greatest against the Pirates. They still won all 4 of those games. So you're seeing them win games despite their best arms in the bullpen being at their best. So if you can steal a few wins that way, that'll, you'll make up for those later in the year too. When they are, all 3 of them are clicking on all cylinders, you're going to end up picking up wins on that. And that's another thing that's just kind of giving me a little promise.
Yeah. And I brought this up earlier when I was doing Redbird Rush Hour with Kevin. I looked this up yesterday. Ryan Stanek is a guy that's getting beat up on a lot by Cardinals fans. He actually hasn't cost the team that many games. With him appearing yesterday, I'm double checking this right now as it runs, but I believe the Cardinals are 14-3 in games that Stanek appears in. So that tells you that they're winning more games that he pitches in than they're losing. That is correct.
Yeah, and
they're 14-3 in the 17 games that Ryan Stanek has appeared in this year.
And it almost seems like he's about to turn the corner, too. I think there have been a few games recently where he gets the first 2 outs so fast. It's just 1, 2, boom, so fast. And then you look up and there's 2 guys on base. So it's not a case of him going out there and just getting slammed every time. Last night you saw a real quick outing out of him. He got 3 outs, boom, boom, boom last night. So, if he keeps building off of 2 quick outs and then can get the third before getting traffic on the bases, that's going to improve him too. And I think lower leverage situations are going to help. I think Graceffo and Soriano have really risen to those high level situations to where you can take a little bit of the pressure off Stanek. And I think we're starting to maybe see this bullpen kind of take shape and see what Ollie is going to go with game by game.
He is Joe Roderick. He's over at STL Sports Central. They do a lot of incredible things over there. Of course, Bernie's written and video content is there. We share Bernie with STL Sports Central, which is awesome. Joe, always appreciate your time. And if I don't talk to you again before the next rain out, I'll talk to you on the next rain out.
I will see you at the ballpark tomorrow, I think.
Yes, I will be there.
Then I will talk to you then.
All right, we'll talk then. That's Joe Roderick from STL Sports Central, and we appreciate him taking a few moments with us. We've got another guest coming up here in just a moment or so. We're going to talk with Jordan Williams. He is a sports anchor and sports reporter with Fox 2 and Channel 11. He joins us in just a moment. You're locked into a Gray Bar Sports Open Line on KMOX.
The thing that you need in the morning, when you first wake up.
Total Information AM.
I like to be informed with the news and like to know, like in the mornings, I like to know what's going on.
Debbie Monterey, Megan Lynch, Tom Ackerman.
It's always smart to know what's going on.
Your morning news and information.
The national and local news.
Weather.
Sports.
I like the traffic reports.
Total Information AM.
I listen to it in the mornings, so it really gets me going.
Total Information AM. Weekdays 5 to 9 on the voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
As I've been telling you for months, FanDuel is an official sportsbook partner of KMOX. And right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if that first bet wins. That's right. Turn $5 into $150 in bonus bets just for getting started. FanDuel makes it easy to get closer to the action, from player props on your favorite stars to all the tools you need to back them up. It's everything you need, all in one app. Don't miss your shot. Go to FanDuel.com/Missouri to get started. FanDuel.com/Missouri. FanDuel, an official partner of the NBA. Play your game. Must be 21 or over and present in Missouri. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com.
Why do the national tax resolution firms need the tiny fine print at the bottom of all their TV ads? Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm. You don't hear fast-talking disclaimers in our ads because the claims we make are 100% transparent. The Lance Drury Law Firm primarily focuses on one thing, IRS problems, and we're regulated by the Bar Association, and we have a AAA rating with the Better Business Bureau. IRS issues are serious legal issues. The Lance Drury Law Firm has helped thousands of clients navigate the best resolution plans, and we tell you up front exactly how much it'll cost. Tax resolution law is all we do. So before you send money to some out-of-town, high-pressure salesperson, give us a call at the Lance Drury Law Firm, located right here in St. Louis. Call today to schedule your free consultation with me, 314-260-6120, or visit LanceDruryLaw.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
The BizDash 5K, presented by Worldwide Technology, is back. Produced by the St. Louis Sports Commission, this high-energy corporate race is St. Louis's healthiest happy hour, combining fitness, fun, and unbeatable team bonding for companies of every size. Runners and walkers of all levels are welcome. It all comes together at Energizer Park Thursday, May 7th in downtown St. Louis. An office party like no other. Create your company team today at stlbizdash.com.
The smartest way to do your homework is Hackman Lumber.
Thinking about building a new deck? Start with the deck experts at Hackman Lumber, home of one of the largest inventories of decking materials and accessories in Missouri. From treated lumber and cedar to all the leading names in decking, their experts will help you choose the perfect materials for your dream deck. Then finish it off with endless railing options, balusters, and LED deck lighting to bring your backyard to life. Hackman Lumber will not be undersold on in-stock decking materials, guaranteed. Do it yourself? Their team is ready with expert advice. Need help from a pro? They can connect you with trusted local contractors. Also, check out their expanding paint department with custom color matching. And don't forget, follow Hackman Lumber on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok to catch weekly deal specials and project inspiration all season long. Or visit us at hackmanstl.com. Locations in St. Peters, Troy, and Pacific, Missouri.
Data centers don't wait, and neither should your supply chain. From power and connectivity to racks and critical power, Graybar brings the products and the experience data centers need now. And with deep inventory and logistics expertise, we keep projects moving from first delivery to final install. With hundreds of locations and a nationwide delivery fleet, we help you bring facilities online, on time, and on budget. Yep, Graybar does that.
One city, one voice. KMOX, the voice of St. Louis.
It's Graybar Sports Open Line right here on KMOX. My name is Matt Pauley. Taking you till 8 o'clock this evening. We've got a full 2-hour program because there is no Cardinals baseball. Cardinals and Brewers getting rained out. They'll wrap up what is now a 2-game series coming up tomorrow afternoon over at Busch Stadium. Very happy to welcome onto the program right now. You see him, you watch him both on Channel 2, Fox 2, and also on Channel 11. He is a sports anchor and sports reporter. He is Jordan Williams. Jordan, always appreciate being able to talk to you for a few minutes. How are you?
Of course, I'm doing well. I'm giving, or I should say I'm waiting for my Lakers to tip off. So getting some NBA action tonight despite the Cardinals rain out.
You can't feel good about that series for the Lakers, right?
I mean, feeling good, probably not. But, you know, when you have LeBron, there's always a chance. So you never know. You never know.
All right. Fair enough. I didn't think the Lakers were going to beat the Rockets. So,
right.
I mean, at this point, it feels like it's the dictionary definition of house money.
Yeah. Yeah. So, like I said, with LeBron, there's always a chance. I mean, you'd love to have Luka back as well, but I mean, they're definitely not the betting favorite. That's for sure.
That is very true. All right. So this Cardinals team, they're surprising a lot of people right now from an outside perspective. People did not expect this team to have the record that they have right now. As someone who watches them on pretty much everyday basis, what say you? What do you like, and maybe what still concerns you about the way this team is playing?
Yeah, I think there's 3 things that you want any baseball team, or I suppose any sports team, to be doing, and I think the Cardinals are doing all 3, where they're winning, they're having fun, and then from a fan's perspective, the attendance numbers, now they're not where they used to be, but they're still going. So I think the team is having a lot of fun, and yeah, I think going into the season, the expectations were pretty low. And I'm not even sure how the team saw it, because last year we heard so much about like a runway. We're going to really see what we have with Jordan Walker and Nolan Gorman and those types of players. And it seemed like you got that answer, but then you had the switch in with Chaim Bloom coming in. So into 2026, you would probably have a better guess at kind of what the expectations were around the team and within the team. And you always have players saying, like, I think we're going to surprise a lot of people. And I remember that being like Wilson Contreras' tagline last season going into the year. And it's kind of like player speak. And this year, I'm sure some of them said it, but it seems like that's exactly what they're doing with is it seven or 8 games above 500 right now. So they're definitely exceeding expectations. And like I said, I think they're having a lot of fun, and they're fun to watch. for all the games I've been there. They've been really fun.
Yeah, it almost seems like the difference. I agree with what you just said. It's like last year they recognized the fact that they maybe weren't supposed to be doing something, where this year maybe they don't even recognize it. They're just going out and they don't realize how good or how not good they're even supposed to be.
There's definitely some benefit to the idea that there's like no pressure and you're just going out there and kind of being loose. And it's like, yeah, that's how you want to play, but also like when you're playing as a Cardinal, you know, they say no expectations, but there's always expectations when you're playing for one of the best franchises in the league. But yeah, I think there's some truth to the fact that they're going out there, they're young, and maybe they don't really feel like there's any pressure, and that probably helps when everyone in and around Major League Baseball media is saying that they may be the team that's finishing last in the Central. And right now, I would say that's probably not the case, obviously, at the moment, but there's still a lot of season to go.
Yeah, you touched on something there that I think is actually really interesting, because it's not easy for, say, the front office to go out and make moves that make it seem like winning right now is not a priority, yet the actual, the field staff, the manager, the players go make winning a priority. And somehow, some way, Oliver Marmol, his staff, and these players have been able to push completely out of the way the fact that the Cardinals did trade off a lot of veterans and did lower expectations from an outside perspective. That doesn't matter to what they're still showing up to the ballpark trying to win every day.
Yeah, I think so. Going back to the attendance thing, where it's like expectations, what are the fans feeling? Opening day, you're always going to have a ton of fans, and I think you've seen them that exceeding expectations really show out, or it's evident in the fact that fans are slowly starting to show up. Now, yeah, I'm sure some of that, you had a lot of fans for the Red Sox, you had a lot of fans for the Mariners. Red Sox, obviously a big franchise. The Mariners were just in the LCS. And then for the Dodgers, of course, everyone wants to see Ohtani. But I feel like those numbers are starting to tick up again. It's still early, but I think the fans are kind of buying in as well to what's going on right now with Jordan Walker doing incredible things. JJ Weatherholt also exceeding expectations. Alec Burleson, you knew what you had with him in 2025, and he's kind of doing that again in 2026. So I think the fans are showing up, and I think it's, Oliver Marmol, and they may have had their own expectations, and they're just winning baseball games and going out. I mean, we had that discussion, I think, when the Dodgers were in town about how good the team actually has been. Obviously, there's a lot of luck in baseball, so we were talking about those one-run games and the extra inning games, but they've been winning all of those games. So, yeah, there is some luck, but obviously there's some truthness to what's going on with the Cardinals.
Jordan Williams from Fox 2 and Channel 11 is continuing to join us. It's a Gray Bar Sports Open Line. So if there is one area about this team that does concern you, that you feel like there's a good chance that maybe it does start to fall off, is there an area that you identify?
I feel like, it's got to be the pitching, right? I think the hitting is pretty solid. But then, again, you would know better than this than me. Is it the starting pitching that needs to improve, or the relief? Because I think both of them have been. I think the starting has been solid. I think the relief has been probably better than expected if you compare the two. But Jojo Romero's been great. Riley O'Brien's been great. And then the starting pitchers, I think you've gotten a lot of quality starts. So I think it's hard to pinpoint one exactly, just from my perspective and how I cover the team and how maybe I'm not so ingrained as some other people are that cover the team. But I'd probably lean more toward the pitching, but it's probably a good problem to have from my perspective, where I can't necessarily say, man, you really wish you had a third guy to go out there and give you innings, because after Liberatore and McGreevy, I think he's gotten pretty solid outings from Dustin May. He's kind of bounced back a little bit. And Kyle Leahy, we talked to him yesterday. He wasn't able to go the 6 innings, and he's still learning that and building up his reps as he kind of grows into being a starter. But he also had 5 scoreless innings. So I think you've gotten a lot of quality starts from the starters. And I think the relievers have been great as well. And I think the batting has been better than the pitching. So I'd lean more toward the pitching, but it's hard for me to say whether it would be the starting or the relief pitch. I think maybe a little more toward the relief, because I feel like they've blown up a couple of games. But something sometimes the team has come back and still won it with the batting.
Yeah, they have, and they've been really good hitting in the final 3 innings, 7, 8, 9. They're among the best in baseball in being able to go out and score runs. And it's a interesting spot to be in because a lot of the expected numbers are not as good as the actual numbers, and so that's why you can this hold up? But so far, it has in many ways. I mean, there's certainly some areas in the bullpen that I think that you could see it get a little bit better. But yeah, it's certainly a good problem to have. This team also, Jordan, I'm finishing off with this. They're in this stretch right now. It was going to be 17 straight days before today got postponed. They've really been able to survive. Going into this, we said, okay, we're going to learn something about the Cardinals over these 17 days. And it was almost like this ominous type thing. And yeah, they got swept by the Mariners, but they played well in that series. They played well against the Pirates, played well against the Dodgers, beat the Brewers yesterday. It really feels like they've gone through this tough stretch and continue to just find ways to win. You still there, Jordan?
Yes, I lost you for a second, but you just came back.
Okay, no problem. Just the point that this 17-game stretch, they've certainly found ways to win throughout it, in what we thought was going to be a tough stretch going into it.
Yeah, I think before this 17-game stretch, I still feel like the team didn't really have an identity, and you weren't sure. They had obviously won a lot of games, and they were above 500, but you weren't exactly sure what you were getting from the team. And then this 17-game stretch started, and you started with the Mariners. And I was there, and I asked Ollie Marmol in the dugout, are you prepared to learn a lot about your team right now? Because you're going up against the Mariners, who, again, were back in the LCS. And then you have that Pittsburgh series in the NL Central. And then it's the Dodgers. And then it just keeps coming because it's these 17 games in 17 days. And in that Mariners series, you're like, okay, maybe we learned a little bit about the Cardinals. Like, yeah, maybe they're pretty solid because they competed well, but they didn't win any of those games. And then they went right ahead in Pittsburgh, and then they swept them in 4 games. And then it's like, okay, well, we'll really learn something when they play the Dodgers. And then they went ahead and beat the Dodgers in that 3-game series as well. So it seems like every other series we're like, okay, and like when are we really going to learn what this team is doing? And I think, again, through these 17 games, through the first stretch of these 17 games, they're 7-1 or 6-1 or whatever it is. So I think every series we're learning something new about the team, but we've definitely learned that, okay, they are better than expected, and I think they're going to hang around and definitely compete in the NL Central and in Major League this season.
He is Jordan Williams. You see him on Channel 2, Channel 11, as well as a sports anchor and sports reporter covering all things St. Louis sports. Follow him on Twitter at JordanWillTV. Jordan, appreciate you taking some time. We'll see you at the ballpark again real soon.
Awesome. Thanks, Matt.
You bet. Jordan Williams joining us here on the program. Appreciate him spending a few moments with us this evening. We've still got a lot coming up here on this edition of the program. Next hour, we're going to talk with Rob Raines. He covers the Cardinals for STL Sports Page. We're also going to talk with Tim Dillard, former Brewers pitcher, now a Brewers TV analyst. He is in town. What does a Brewers TV analyst do when you get an unexpected night off in St. Louis? We'll find that out, and we will also talk about what's going on with that Brewers team. That their record is fine, like the rest of the NL Central. They're above 500, but at the same time, it seems like they're just they're not quite what they are many years, but they're the Brewers, and they always seem to find a way. So we'll talk with Tim about that coming up next hour as well. We'll wrap up hour number 1 of the program in just a moment. You're locked in. It's Gray Bar Sports Open Line right here on KMOX.
This is Congressman Bob Onder. Americans demanded border security, and House Republicans delivered. According to the Department of Homeland Security, for 10 consecutive months, U.S. Customs and Border Protection has reported 0 illegal aliens released at the border. I'm proud to have worked with the Trump administration to secure our southern border and uphold our immigration laws, and will keep fighting to advance strong policies that protect Missourians and keep America safe.
Paid for by official funds authorized by the House of Representatives.
Experience an evening of love, beauty, and lush soundscapes as the St. Louis Symphony Orchestra performs Ravel's Daphnis and Chloe. 3 extraordinary pieces come to life, from Ravel's masterpiece to the world premiere of Nathalie Joachim's Family to Kevin Putz's evocative Virelai. Nearly 300 musicians, May 8th through 10th, at Powell Hall at the Jack C. Taylor Music Center. Tickets at slso.org.
A Mother's Day to remember. Join us May 9th and 10th at Warm Springs Ranch for the Budweiser Clydesdales Parade of Champions. A never-before open-to-the-public chance to see our majestic stallions braided, polished, and showcased like true champions. Browse the gift shop and make a full day of it. Doors open at 9:30 a.m. Festivities run until 3 p.m. Enjoy live demonstrations and meet a Clydesdale up close. Tickets are limited. Go to warmspringsranch.com.
For decades, Morgan & Morgan has represented hundreds of thousands of people at their hour of need. Injuries on the job, car crashes, medical malpractice, and nursing home abuse, Social Security claims, dangerous drugs, and dangerous products. We became America's largest injury firm for a reason, and no firm is even close. Then we got to thinking, what if we could prevent these terrible events before they occurred? So we built the AI-powered People Protector. Simply visit peopleprotector.com and type in the product you have questions about before you buy it. Children's toys and accessories, cars, drugs, products, you name it, we got it. With our success, we decided to pay it forward for all of America. Our way of saying thank you for your trust all these years. Morgan & Morgan, protecting America. And if you've already been injured, just visit us at forthepeople.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. Past results afford no guarantee of future results. Every case is different and must be judged on its own merits.
S&L Coin. We buy gold and silver coins, silver and gold jewelry. Also buying gold-filled and silver plates. Before you sell, call S&L. 314-544-3600. 314-544-3600. S&L Coin.
Men, if you're suffering from erectile dysfunction or PE, you're not alone. Most importantly, you don't have to live with it. Paramount Men's Medical Center restores men's sex lives in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, even when Viagra and Cialis don't work. Here's Dr. Simovitz, specialist in men's health.
Paramount Men's Medical Center's painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. 98% of patients see instant results right in the office.
Men are now lasting longer than they ever imagined. And the best part, at Paramount Men's Medical Center, your consultation and first treatment are free. Qualified patients even get their testosterone checked free. Call 314-720-8444. 314-720-8444. Take control of your sex life. Call now. 314-720-8444.
Spring cleaning rule number 1, out with the old, in with the new. And frankly, your family's old internet connection is a dinosaur. Upgrade to the 1 gig modern family standard from i3 Broadband. It's 100% true in-home fiber with equal upload and download speeds, so your teenager's gaming won't crash your video call. Even better, we're currently offering our longest price guarantees ever on our gig speed internet services. Say goodbye to exploding promo prices and hello to budget certainty. Visit i3broadband.com/radio and start your spring off right.
A common question I receive is, how is the market right now? It just seems so volatile. Hi, I'm Christina Straight, owner of Straight Realty. If you want to buy or sell but feel overwhelmed by the whiplash of the market, then let's talk. With over 23 years as a broker, I have the exact experience you need to help you navigate this tricky market. Call me at 314-441-4444. 314-441-all-4s. And remember, why pay more than 2?
Commissions are not regulated and are negotiable. Straight Realty is a licensed broker in the state of Missouri.
Welcome back to the Gray Bar Sports Open Line. Once again, Matt Pauley on KMOX.
Just a few minutes left here in hour number 1 of the program. Hour number 2 is going to feature a conversation with Rob Raines from STL Sports Page and also Tim Dillard, who is a former Major League and Brewers pitcher and now works with the Brewers TV broadcast. We'll talk with him a little bit. We're going to make him work, even though he's got the night off with no game being played. Cardinals win yesterday. They really play. That was a fun game yesterday, and the way that they were able to win it. We keep talking about these individuals who are being put into new roles and then being able to feel things. That's something that Oliver Marmol will talk about. And I think we saw that a little bit with Kyle Leahy yesterday, where he was pushing his pitch count a little bit And I missed, if you were listening to the postgame show last night, I misspoke. I said that it was a season high in pitches for Leahy. It wasn't, but he still threw a lot of pitches, 94 pitches yesterday for him, and he was able to get into the 6th inning. He was going through the lineup for a third time through. And at some point, as those experiences continue to build up, you're going to be able to push through to the next plateau and the next plateau and the next plateau and do that, so on and so forth. So I think I would say, do you love the 4.93 ERA for a Kyle Leahy right now? No, you don't love it, but you don't hate it at the same time either. You look at how he's trending here recently specifically. The numbers are getting better most times out, and you just get the sense that he is starting to get his feet underneath him on everything that is that's going on, and that's a good thing. And there's some other individuals who are kind of in that same spot, and we're judging everybody in different ways as well. I think that's the other thing that's kind of notable about this team. Last year, we kept using that term, and we overused it in terms of just calling it a runway season. Well, this isn't a runway season this year. Guys are not just getting penciled in there automatically because they need to play. But there are some individuals who are going to have a little bit more leash than others, and I think Leahy's in that group. Now, at some point, we are going to see him hit a wall because he is going to push through barriers that he's never gone up against as a first-time Major League starter. We saw the exact same thing happen last year with Matthew Liberatore. And it doesn't matter how good you are. It doesn't matter what your background is. If you've been a relief pitcher and then all of a sudden you're a full-time, every 5th or 6th day starter and you're being asked to do that, well, then there's going to be a moment in that process where you hit that wall and you try to go through that wall. But sometimes you got to back off a little bit and almost go around the wall. And, we're probably using the wall analogy a little bit too much at this point, but you get the point of what I'm saying. So I thought that was a good step forward for Leahy. There's other guys who are taking steps forward, and that's been one of the most fun parts about this season this year is seeing how many guys really have been able to move forward. This is a Gray Bar Sports Open Line. We'll take a break. We've got more after the 7 o'clock news here on KMOX.
Stan Musial, he missed a season in his prime to serve his country in the Navy.
Honor a legend on Saturday, May 16th when the Cardinals face the Kansas City Royals. Fans can secure a Stan Musial military bobblehead presented by Coca-Cola and Deerbirds. This patriotic collectible celebrates Stan's Hall of Fame career and his service to our country. A true symbol of character on and off the field. A tribute worth displaying and remembering. Don't miss it. Get tickets and details at cardinals.com/promotions.
Paging all nurses and healthcare heroes, this night is for you. Join the Cardinals for Nurses Appreciation on Wednesday, May 20th and Thursday, May 21st at Busch Stadium. With a special theme ticket, you'll receive a healthcare-inspired Cardinal sweatshirt plus a coupon for a complimentary drink. It's our way of saying thank you for all that you do in our community. Don't miss the special theme at the ballpark. Details and tickets at cardinals.com/theme.
Let's talk about Air Medical memberships. In an emergency, you don't choose who transports you. Dispatch sends the closest, most appropriate aircraft. Here's what matters: speed, skill, advanced care. Like critical care crews trained for the toughest moments. Like onboard blood that can make the difference between life and death. Arch Air Medical Service delivers life-saving air medical care across Effingham and surrounding communities. When you call for help, we bring hospital-level care to you. Plus, we're part of Air Methods, the nation's largest air medical provider. And about the cost, the No Surprises Act protects patients with private health insurance from unexpected out-of-network air ambulance bills. You're only responsible for your in-network copay, coinsurance, or deductible. Medicare and Medicaid patients have similar protections. No surprise bills, no balance billing, no membership required. Because when it's your life on the line, what matters isn't membership, it's medicine. Learn more at airmethods.com. Copays, coinsurance, and deductibles are set by insurance providers, not Air Methods. Terms and costs may vary. Contact your insurer for details.
This is the story of the one. As a procurement manager for a hospital system, she keeps every facility in her network stocked and ready. That's why she counts on Grainger to be her single source for thousands of products, from disinfectants to lighting, air filters, and more. And with fast, dependable delivery, Grainger helps her keep every facility stocked, safe, and running smoothly. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
At Audion Hearing, our mission is simple: to make better hearing affordable for everyone. We're proud to offer high-quality, rechargeable hearing aids starting at just $98. Clear, comfortable, and ready to use right out of the box. And here's a study worth hearing. Research shows that wearing hearing aids can reduce your risk of dementia by up to 61%. Join over 1 million happy customers and hear the difference today by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
The trusted voice of St. Louis. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
This is CBS News on the Hour, your home for original reporting.
I'm Jennifer Kuiper. President Trump says on social media that he has paused the U.S. effort to guide vessels out of the Strait of Hormuz to finalize an Iran deal, but that the American forces' blockade of the Iranian ports would remain in place. Earlier today, Secretary of State Marco Rubio spoke to reporters, including our Linda Kenyon, about Project Freedom.
The Secretary of State says Iran's blockade of the Strait of Hormuz is an illegal criminal act.
Someone needs to do something about it. Something needs to be done.
Rubio adds Iran is losing billions due to its own blockade of the strait, and it's wrecking its own economy.
They should check themselves before they wreck themselves in the direction that they're going.
Linda Kenyon, CBS News, the White House.
3 people are dead, 4 more are ill, and nearly 150 others are stranded aboard a cruise ship where they will stay until investigators can clear them to leave. CBS's Tom Hansen.
Health officials believe the passengers were infected off the ship, which made several stops on islands up the South American coast. Symptoms can take up to a month to show up. The Andes strain of hantavirus can spread from person to person and is only found in regions of South America. The Dutch cruise liner left Argentina on April 1st and has been moored off the West African island of Cape Verde since Sunday.
After federal agents in Minneapolis fatally shot ICU nurse and American citizen Alex Preddy, Tom Homan was sent by President Trump to de-escalate tensions in Minnesota. CBS News' Camilo Montoya Galvez sat down with Homan, who says that the Trump administration is not backing down on mass deportations.
We're still going to enforce law in Minneapolis and Minnesota, but now we're in a better position. We're in a better position. We're safer for the agents, safer for the aliens. Now, the reason you haven't seen a lot of the videos out there because ICE is doing the mission. They're doing the way they should be doing it. Target enforcement operation.
Pope Leo says talking is better after President Trump repeats criticism about the pontiff. The president saying in an interview that the Pope believes it's okay for Iran to have a nuclear weapon. Pope Leo says talking about war is now a complex problem.
I always believe that it's much better to enter into dialogue than to look for arms and to support the arms industry, which gains billions and billions of dollars each year.
Apple is exploring having its semiconductors made in the U.S. CBS's Jason Brooks reports.
Intel shares soared higher after Bloomberg reported that Apple is interested in partnering with a chip maker on having Apple's custom chips made in the U.S., with Apple also considering South Korea's Samsung as a U.S. chip partner. Taiwan Semiconductor has been making Apple's custom chips for iPhones, iPads, and Macs over the past decade, but Apple is looking to diversify its supply chain.
This is CBS News.
I want to know what's going on in the world. I'm Tony. There are big questions that all of us are asking. I want to get you the answers. How are you? I'm Tony DeCopel. Join me on the CBS Evening News.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. No, we're not one of the big guys. Truth is, we don't want to be. If you're over 50, Big Wireless probably has you paying for more data than you might need. You could be throwing away thousands over a lifetime.
Our entry-level data plans start at just $20 a month. And for a limited time, switch and get your second month free. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com or a store near you and get your second month free today. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional details.
It's your captain speaking. To the passenger with the Mirror Fast soft shoes, smart move.
No way am I letting travel constipation ruin this trip.
Can't blame you. Mirror Fast works fast, but without the harsh side effects.
Since I'm such a smart traveler, can I move to first class?
No. Close the curtain, Carol.
From the makers of Miralax, new Mirafast soft chews work naturally with your body in as little as 30 minutes to give you a comfortable go on the go. Find Mirafast today at your local retailer. Use as directed for occasional constipation. Contains magnesium hydroxide.
At 7:04, we've got rain. It is 49 degrees. It feels like 42 downtown at the Arch. The Missouri House has expanded legislation that would originally have only allowed 75-mile-per-hour speed limits on rural interstates.
It now includes language that would eliminate most vehicle inspections in Missouri. Democrat Michael Burton of St. Louis County pushed back, saying doing away with most vehicle inspections would make Missouri's roads more dangerous. But Republican Darren Chappell of Greene County called that argument, quote, absurd.
How about we just fund an inspection station at the end of every driveway across the state of Missouri to make sure that you're able to travel the roads without any infractions whatsoever.
The wide-ranging bill would also help public schools reinstate driver's education courses. The 2026 legislative session ends May 15th. Ivy Lyons, KMOX News.
This was a great project, and we just basically spat in their face, to be honest.
Ferguson Councilman David Williams venting his frustration after the city council killed plans for a $1.8 billion data center campus. Opponents cheered the tie vote, fearing noise and air pollution, but it now leaves the city scrambling for cash. With budget meetings starting next week, Ferguson is staring down a $2 to $3 million deficit. Williams didn't mince words.
So when you come to council and you want that speed bump, or people are breaking in your house and we're cutting police, I just want you guys to think of this moment. It takes money to provide these services. If we don't have that tax revenue, we cannot provide these services.
Mayor Adrian Shropshire, who cast the deciding vote for no, admits the city is going to have to tighten its belt, but promised residents that police and fire services would not take the hit. The thief who stole nearly 90 checks worth more than $369,000 from St. Louis area mail was actually the woman supposed to be supervising the people sorting it. Benita Randall, who oversees operations at the Regional Mail Processing Center, pleaded guilty Monday to mail theft. She handed off the stolen checks to an accomplice in blackjack who's already admitted his role. The case broke open when Randall's car was repossessed and the dealership found drugs, a gun, and the stolen checks tucked inside. Spring allergies in full force across Missouri. This year, they're bringing some new challenges. MU healthcare allergy specialist Dr. Christine Franzi says doctors are seeing more cases of something called pollen food syndrome.
That's when there's certain proteins in some pollens that are very similar to proteins in some foods. And when you eat those foods, your body just reacts like you ate a bunch of pollen, and it can cause worsening of your regular allergy symptoms to food allergy-like symptoms.
Dr. Franzi tells MissouriNet pollen food syndrome often flares up in the spring and fall, and with Missouri's long allergy season lasting about 9 months, symptoms can stick around much longer than people expect. We've got this rain sticking around as we head into the late night tonight, low 46 degrees. For tomorrow, some morning showers, otherwise a sunny day, but still breezy and cool, high 58. Chilly tomorrow night, 42. Thursday, sunshine, 65 degrees. Right now, downtown at the Arch, we've got rain, 49, feels like 42. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
Welcome back to the Gray Bar Sports Open Line. Once again, Matt Pauley on KMOX.
Back at it on KMOX as we do continue with a Gray Bar Sports Open Line. We are efforting right now. Rob Raines, hoping to talk to him here in the next moment or so as we'll talk. We're doing nothing but Cardinals baseball here over these 2 hours because, well, you were expecting Cardinals baseball tonight, and we don't get it with the rain out. So instead, we'll talk Cardinals baseball throughout the next hour or so. Again, Tim Dillard is going to join us in just a moment or so. As he'll join us at about 7:20 or so, and then we'll hopefully talk to Rob Raines here in just a moment. I'm actually handy, and I'll tell you what I'm doing. I need to hand our producer something for him to respond if he can. So, John, if you can just take care of that, and we'll get Rob Raines on here in a moment or so, and we'll be able to talk Cardinals baseball with him. Live radio, folks. We're trying to get things figured out as we do go along. Later on this hour as well, we are going to open up the phone lines and give you an opportunity to chime in about the team as well. I thought they had Dusty Blake on Gas House Gang today, and there was a lot of talk about what they're getting out of their pitching. And Dusty Blake, Cardinals pitching coach, for those of you who are unfamiliar, and yeah, there's a lot of talk about the expected numbers versus what you're actually getting, and we're still early enough in the season where a lot of those things they'll kind of normalize at some point. And I think that's what I'm most interested in right now, because we can get the result of things, right? Like the result, if the Cardinals' expected numbers continue to be exponentially better than their actual numbers, well, then they're going to have a really good season this year. If the expected numbers and the real numbers start to come back together, then that's where you might see a little bit of drop off, and that's what I'm kind of interested in as we do go along. With that being said, we got Rob Raines on the air. You read him over at STL Sports page, and you can follow him as well on Twitter at Rob Raines. STLSportspage.com is the website. Rob joins us right now. Rob, appreciate you being with us. How are you?
Happy to do it, Matt. Good. I'm good. Thank you.
Yeah, look, this is the overwhelming question that everybody has, and we're probably going to be asking this question for a while if the Cardinals keep playing good baseball. Like when you look at what's going on right now, how sustainable is this, and how much of this is small sample size, still early on in the season, they're going to regress to the mean at some point?
I think you're almost getting past the small sample size. You're almost up to a quarter of the season, which is a pretty significant number. I mean, I know it's not as big as a third of the season and half of the season, all that kind of stuff. But I mean, I don't really see anything that I would, raise a red flag about that would concern me about going forward. I think that there's things that I think can even be better than they are at this point. I think the starting pitching can be better. We all talk about the swing and miss, rate and the strikeout percentage rate and that kind of stuff, which I think is still low. I mean, it's one of the worst in baseball. So if that could get better, I think the one thing that I'm curious about with the offense is that you're not really kind of relying on the same couple of people every night, where you would say, okay, if they go into a slump, then the team's in trouble. But, they have balance up and down the lineup, which I think they haven't had for a while. The top four guys, the guys who are regularly in the top four spots in the lineup, they're all kind of clicking on cylinders. And if you're not, the thing is, if you have four guys that you're kind of relying on, well, chances are at least one of them is going to have a decent game. There's not going to be a very rare night that all of them are going to have an offer or something, So I think that's what encourages me about how they're playing to this point.
They've gotten a lot more power than we expected, and that can largely be connected to two individuals, Jordan Walker and J.J. Weatherholt, who have each hit a good number of home runs. We didn't know if this team was going to have any power when the season got started. Have you been surprised by the overall power numbers? Were they a top 4, top 5 team in baseball?
Yeah, I had been, but overwhelmingly so. And that's one thing I didn't see coming with JJ. And I've done a lot of stories on him in the minor leagues. I know him pretty well, and that's the one part of his game that I didn't think. And we'll see if that maybe that's a kind of an aberration. But he had that one real hot streak right when he got promoted last year from AA to AAA. He hit a bunch of home runs in a week. But I thought the power part of it surprised me a little bit. But I thought too. When we left Florida, I thought if this team was going to win games, they were going to have to be 3-1, 2-1, 4-0. I didn't think the scoring was going to be the issue. I thought the pitching was going to be better, but I still thought scoring runs was maybe going to be an issue. But to this point, they've been fine.
When you look at like the holes offensively, Pedro Pajes has not done a lot catching, but 40% of the time you've got Herrera catching. Center field is still an issue when Victor Scott II is out there. But going into the year where you thought there were going to be some just huge black holes in the lineup, it feels like the team doesn't have as much of that as maybe you expected them to have.
I would agree with that. I think Church has been a nice addition. I didn't think he would play. I didn't think he'd play as much as he's played, or B, play as well as he's played. So that gives you a little bit of encouragement. Maybe if Victor continues to struggle a little bit, although I think the game, last night was a positive sign for him. But when Nootbaar comes back, then, you could slide Church over to center field very easily. So they have some depth there that they haven't had in the past. I think Gorman has had a nice, he doesn't have strikeout issues, but what's he on pace for? Something like 90 RBIs, or close to it. So, you can live with that if you're getting that kind of production out of there. And I think, and we've already talked about the top four guys. So, I think the catching situation, if Herrera can catch, to me, we when we think back to spring training and think about some of the questions we had on this club when we started, but one of them was can Herrera catch? And because you always knew that if Herrera could catch, that helped increase the offensive production out of that spot in the lineup. Whereas if he had a DH, then you're not counting on much offensive production out of the catcher spot, which is why we keep talking about Jimmy Crooks and stuff like that. So, that to me has been one of the more positive developments. Is he may not, be going to win a Gold Glove. He may not going to be lead the league and throwing guys out at second, but he is caught well enough to stay there. And I think he's helped himself with the ABS stuff too. So, because that part's really been amazing how well he's done, challenging pitches and stuff, which has helps his pitchers.
Yeah, it really has. Have you liked that, by the way, just from a big picture perspective, the way that's all played out?
Yeah, I saw it a little bit in the minor leagues, when I traveled down to Memphis and stuff. In the last couple of years, I've seen it. I knew it was very quick and a very good system. I think, I hope that umpires take it in the right vein and that they use it to get better. And if they kind of watch where they're missing pitches, if they're consistently missing pitches that are low, consistently missing pitches that are high, maybe they can adjust a little bit and they can make themselves better. I don't view it as a way to embarrass umpires. I think it's just the step to getting the calls right. And I think there are some pitches that you kind of, why did he challenge that? I think there's also some strategy involved to it that teams are going to get better at over the course of the season, not wasting pitches that are obviously, the correct call. But the ones, and I think the other thing is you've seen is that sometimes, we forget really how good these umpires are, because some of those pitches, whether their call is overturned or call is confirmed, it's like a fraction of an inch that is, off the plate or on the plate. So they really do a good job. So that's why I don't think they should be embarrassed by getting a call overturned if it was such a close pitch.
I don't know if you agree with this. I actually think that baseball fans have grown to appreciate umpires more than ever, because just for the reason you mentioned, there are some umpires out there that are missing tons of calls and missing bad strikes, and this system does expose them. But the vast majority of umpires are really darn good at their job, and now we've got like a visual representation to show just how good they are.
And if they can use it to maybe phase out some of the umpires that aren't getting better, maybe that's the way that you can use data now to support why you're making a change with some of the umpires. So, and maybe I think the older umpires are probably going to have less of more of an issue with it than the younger umpires, because I say a lot of the younger umpires who came up to AAA, they were already used to the system.
My conspiracy theory is we never see CB Buckner again, that he used the opportunity when he got hit in the face mask to, go out on medical leave, and he's just going to be done.
Yeah, it's possible. Yeah, I haven't heard anything about that. He had a couple of bad games, but we had one game, I forget even now who the umpire was. We had one bad game here in St. Louis. I think the guy was 0 for 9 on call. So, it wasn't out CB Buckner. So, it's going to happen. Everybody has bad days too. It's just sometimes now you're going to get exposed with those bad days. Before all you can do is complain about it.
Rob Raines is continuing to join us. We mentioned J.J. Weatherholt kind of in passing earlier, but just as we wrap up, I know you've spent a lot of time talking with him. He is somebody who has walked in, and it just immediately feels like not only should he be here, but he's somebody who's been here for a while. I mean, the fit in, the way that he just, everything about him screams major leaguer. Have you, what do you attribute that to? Just the fact that he does not seem like a rookie out there?
I attribute it to the fact that he's the same way as he was the last couple of years in the minor leagues. He just was very diligent about what he was doing. He was very calm. He prepared himself well at college. 3 years of college. He wasn't a 19 or 20-year-old kid coming in here. He knew what he wanted to do, and he's just very good at his job in a very professional, low key, very calm manner. He got a very slow heartbeat. He just doesn't seem to get excited or doesn't seem to get overwhelmed by anything. Yeah, and I'm not surprised that he's doing that. The only thing that surprised me a little bit about him has been the power.
Yeah. Nobody saw that power coming, and I mean, who knows if it actually holds up or not? But it's been fun to see for sure. Well, Rob, we encourage folks to read you. Head over to stlsportspage.com. One of the well-established members of the Cardinals media group, and always enjoy being able to talk to you and get your thoughts, because you've seen so much through the years, and appreciate you spending some time with us today.
Thank you. Yeah, the big story we got up there now is went to Springfield and did a big profile piece of William Doyle, so I think people would enjoy that if they get a chance to read it. Yeah,
absolutely. And it's been a little bit better for Doyle than it was early on in the season, for sure.
Yeah, well, there's a reason for that, and if you read the story, you'll find out why.
STLSportsPage.com is the place to go to. Rob, thanks again for your time.
All right. Thank you, Matt.
That's Rob Raines. We'll take a break. When we come back, we are set to be joined by former Brewers pitcher, now Brewers TV analyst, Tim Dillard. He's with us in just a moment. Don't go anywhere. You're locked in. It's Graybar Sports Open Line here on KMOX.
Rhino Shield is engineered to outlast paint by a lot, backed with our 25-year transferable warranty. Paint a house, shield a home. We do brick, block, stucco, asbestos, steel, aluminum, cedar, and more. We are the only coating company selected by Disney, This Old House, and 3 times on HGTV's Curb Appeal, where all 3 episodes concentrate on unpainted brick. If you maintain or own a business with a tired-looking building, you owe it to yourself to look at Rhino Shield and our beautifully durable color schemes. Evaluations are free. We're making buildings pop and be noticed again, from Champaign to the Lake of the Ozarks, exceeding expectations every day with our products, people, and performance. Now is the time to call 877-25-RHINO, 877-25-RHINO, or go to 877-25rhino.com and see how honest and transparent we really are. Tell them, ladies.
Don't paint, don't Rhino, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Guys, Kevin Wheeler here. I want to tell you about the Burn Balance Complex, which is available at supplement superstores. And it's Burn Balance Edge for the guys. It's Burn Balance Zen for the women. And what this is very simply a complete metabolism system. It's not just a simple fat burner. It's way more than that. It works with your body to get the metabolism working the way that it's supposed to. So what you notice right away, what I've noticed here in the first couple of months is your shirt will lay a little bit flatter, your pants fit a little bit looser. It's not like that as immediate, but it comes pretty fast. This is a great natural weight loss option for people that don't want prescriptions or injections. If those aren't for you, go to supplement superstores and check out the Burn Balance Complex. On top of getting the metabolism working, you're going to get reduced stress with lower cortisol levels. You're going to have appetite control and craving control, all-day focused energy without the jitters that come with energy drinks. And look, it's not magic. You got to do things the right way, but the Burn Balance Complex makes it so much easier. So get out to supplement superstores. Tell them Kevin Wheeler sent you in. They will knock 30% off the Burn Balance Complex for you right there, and you can find your location at supplementsuperstores.com.
Mizzou football will be here before you know it. Join us for the 100th anniversary of Memorial Stadium with season tickets. Join the season ticket waitlist at mutigers.com/FB waitlist and get ready to lock in tickets for 2026. The home schedule is highlighted by games against Florida, Texas A&M, Texas, Kentucky, and Oklahoma. Don't wait to reserve your spot. Join the waitlist at mutigers.com/FB waitlist. MIZ.
Right now, inflation is squeezing budgets, and global events can shake up the markets overnight. If you're close to retirement, you don't get unlimited do-overs, so this is not the time to just hope it works out. That's why Steve Auld and the team at the All Financial Group are hosting an upcoming educational seminar called Retirement Simplified, May 6th and May 7th. You'll learn how rising costs could drain your spending power, how political and economic headlines may impact your returns, and whether your retirement strategy is truly stress-tested for today's economy. This event is complimentary, and you must reserve your seat today. 636-230-8824. You can also get more details online at yourmoneymattersstl.com.
Investment advisory products and services made available through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, IPW, or registered investment advisor. Neither the firm nor its agents or representatives may give tax or legal advice. Individuals should consult with a qualified professional for guidance before making any purchasing decisions. The All Financial Group is not affiliated with nor endorsed by the U.S. government or any other government agency.
Hey, Missouri, it's game time. Start betting like a pro with the world's largest sports book at your fingertips. Hi, I'm Derek Stevens. I'm a lifelong sports bettor, and I'm the owner of Circus Sports. It's sports betting the way it should be, with high limits, player-friendly pricing, exceptional customer service, and more. Download your new bookie at circusports.com. The action starts now, Missouri. Experience the difference with Circus Sports. Bet like a pro.
Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
When someone tells me, Gary, I just want to feel calm about this, I usually say, good, that's fixable. Because calm doesn't come from watching the stock markets, it comes from having a plan. Let's build one together. Visit my website, checkwithgary.com, or call 800-966-1690. My show, Wealth and Wisdom with Gary Goldberg, every Saturday morning at 7 o'clock, here on KMOX FM 104.1.
Yesterday, today, and tomorrow. KMOX, the voice of St. Louis.
It's Gray Bar Sports Open Line right here on KMOX. No Cardinals baseball tonight. A rain out. They will make it up later on this year in July when it's going to be a 5-game series, 5 games in 4 days. They'll still have the regularly scheduled game coming up tomorrow afternoon. Very happy to welcome right now onto the program. He is a former Major League pitcher. He now works as an analyst on the Brewers television broadcast. He is Tim Dillard. You can follow him on Twitter at Dim Tillard, and he joins us right now. One of the good guys in our game of baseball. Tim, appreciate you taking some time with us. How are you?
No, I'm good. I appreciate it, man. Thanks for having me on, man.
What does a visiting broadcaster do in St. Louis when you get the unexpected night off?
Yeah, I had all this stuff planned. I was going to go to dinner with like our broadcast crew, radio crew. We had this whole thing, we had reservations, and then you text me and you were like, "Hey, you want to be on the radio show?" No. It's one of those things where you kind of go full speed for several days, and then finally when you get a night off and you can kind of turn your brain off to baseball, you realize just how tired you are a little bit. But that's pretty much it. You think that people have plans and stuff like that. I bet for a lot of players, they just want to go, you know what, maybe I'll just turn in early, because sometimes, the stresses of the season, even though it's still early, it happens.
And it is early, and this Brewers team, it's interesting watching the social media reaction from Brewers fans right now, because the team is 18-16. They would be a first-place team in a handful of divisions across baseball. Right now in the NL Central, that puts them in last place, yet they've been so good in recent years, especially when they have slow starts. So when you take a step back, how do you evaluate the entire body of work that you've seen so far here in the first 6 or so weeks for the Brewers?
Well, number one, they've just been, they've been doing their best to make up for some of their big bats. About a couple weeks ago, I started looking at all the home runs that they're missing from last year to this year, just with Yelich being gone, being hurt, Churio being hurt, Andrew Vaughn being hurt, Caleb Durbin had left, a couple other pieces in there. There was about 100 home runs from one year to the next that they just didn't have in the lineup for a month. That's a big deal. So I think they were trying to figure out all the different ways they could make something happen. There was a lot of great starting pitching that stepped up. There's some great bullpen pieces that got put in place. And then, obviously they're playing some small ball, strategic hitting. They're really good with 2 outs. You'll see that. We saw that a little bit in last night's game. But they're still missing that supple still skin. And so hopefully that's Churio coming back. That's Vaughn coming back. And so when I look at the snapshot of what I've seen from the season is they just overcome injuries. That, a lot of teams have. But what it is what they've tried to overcome is some really big extra base hit bats that they've had to find ways to win, not having those guys in the lineup.
If you're Jackson Churio, you're not supposed to play your first game of the year on May 4th and go 4 for 4 with 2 doubles. That kid is just incredible, isn't he?
I mean, and he reached base 5 times. He also had a walk. I'm not going to lie. It was pretty incredible to watch because, I'll be honest, baseball is not that easy. Not really any facet of baseball is that easy. You shouldn't be allowed to miss, seeing big league pitching for over a month and then all of a sudden act like, you're playing Little League, because he worked really good counts. He hit really good pitches, and he was very patient early on and doesn't draw a lot of walks, and he usually is not very patient. And then his last at-bat gets a good pitch, first pitch, and he ambushes. That drives pitchers insane. As a former pitcher, I'm watching this going, this shouldn't be real, because this is how I would pitch the guy that hasn't seen big league pitching in 6 weeks or whatever. So what an amazing talent. You can see every single day why the Brewers were like, this guy's our unicorn. We're going to pay him. He's going to be a Brewer for a long time because he's this type of player. He is that dynamic.
The team is so good. I really should say the organization is so good at creating pitching. And it's not even so much developing pitching, because sometimes it is developing guys through the minor leagues, but sometimes, like a Quinn Priester, it's just bringing them in and getting new eyes on them and all of a sudden making them good. What is it about the Brewers that allows them to grow pitching in so many different kinds of ways?
Great question. I asked pitching coach for the Brewers, Chris Hook, this a couple years ago. Just said, how does this happen? Just walk me through the process because you continually pump out these starters. You pick them up from somewhere else. How does that work? And he said, going up top to Matt Arnold, the GM, he said that he knows the criteria of what they're looking for. They want, young-ish, they want guys that have good arms. Hopefully there's not a whole lot of injury reports in there, but have the makeup of, can they spin the baseball? Can they make the baseball move? Can they manipulate it? And they have certain standards he wouldn't share with me as far as what they're looking for. And then they go around and they find these guys. They trade for them. It seems like a nothing thing that's on the back page of whatever. And all of a sudden you're like, who is this guy? Well, they've been on the radar. They have scouts everywhere, as every team does. But people are looking for different things. And the Brewers are looking for, what can we do? What's the hottest commodity in baseball? And honestly, that is starting pitching. Everybody wants starting pitching every year, always. Think back to a month ago in spring training where people are always looking for starting pitching. So if you want really good currency in Major League Baseball, you need the starting pitching. And so what they're doing is they're finding these guys and they're just running them through their gauntlet of they have this pitching lab that I've glanced in that I'm not supposed to share about. But basically, it's anything you can think of to show where the ball's coming out, what it looks like, how much movement it is, and then they toy around with grips to try to figure out how to make the ball move everywhere. They got pressure plates in the floor when they're pitching off the mound to show what are they creating as far as force. I mean, it is pretty in depth, and all of these tools are geared towards how can we get this guy's arsenal in such a way that he's going to get people out in the big leagues, as opposed to back in my day when we had a pitching coach that was like, here, try this grip. And then 30 pitches later, it's like, here, try this grip. And 30 pitches later, you're like, my arm's hurting because I'm throwing so many pitches trying to make this thing work. So they've cut down the process, I would say, as, maybe it takes 2 or 3 years to get big league ready. They cut that process down by a lot.
Didn't you in the middle of your career go from more of an over-the-top delivery to a sidearm just all of a sudden?
Yeah, I came into spring training 2010, and they were like, hey, we like you over the top, but we're going to want you to drop down sidearm. And I was like, okay, couldn't told me this the entire offseason when I was training, but great. And they were like, this is what we want. And so my first 7 years, I was kind of a lower three-quarter. And then when I dropped down sidearm, I pitched another 11 years. It ended up being the right move for me, but I had to relearn pitches. I had to relearn how I'm looked at from left-handed batters, right-handed batters, how my stuff plays, what do I do in different counts and sequences. It's a very difficult thing when you go through that process. And I think one of the things that kind of is the correlation through all of it is, number one, are these guys coachable? And are they big enough, strong enough to be able to weather adjustments? We look at these guys, these athletes, and we think, oh, they can do whatever they want. They're robots. It takes a good athlete to be able to make adjustments, whether it's, your mechanics and what you're going to do down the mound, when you get the ball out, how you're going to manipulate the baseball, how you follow through, all of these things. You have to be in pretty good shape to be able to pull it off, or you're just not going to be able to deliver. So that kind of goes in through the process as well.
Let me finish you off with this. I know you've only seen the Cardinals live one time, but I know you also follow along with what's going on. Do you like this club? Do you believe that what's going on with them, where they're exceeding expectations, that this is something that's real, and they can just give me your scouting report of what you've seen from the Cardinals so far?
My scouting report is good. This team is good. And you look at the entire NL Central, everybody made moves, big moves to try to get good. And I feel like the Cardinals were kind of like, all right, let's see what we have internally. Let's play it close to the chest and see what we can come up with. And, I mean, you're looking at the bullpen. They were good. They were good last night. The starters, I think Leahy, that was probably his best start of the year. I haven't completely looked at it, but he was outstanding. And, you're looking around like, where are these big names? Give me the big names. You don't need a bunch of big names. Jordan Walker is becoming exactly who they thought he would be years ago. He went to Driveline. I think he figured some stuff out. In the outfield defensively, I think Willie McGee was helping him out. John Jay, which is a fantastic move, bringing John Jay back into the fold with the Cardinals. I mean, there's so many different moments that you can look around that everyone's having, a moment about. Mason Wynn at shortstop. What are you going to get from Nolan Gorman at third base? Burleson at first? Like, you're going around the horn, J.J. Weatherholt at second base, and they're all putting up good at-bats. They are aggressive when they need to be. And I was just looking back over the notes from yesterday's ball game, and what I found is as the game went on, they progressively got more aggressive at the plate. And you could see this in the way they walked up to the plate, the way they were swinging early, what they saw from the pitcher. Now, I don't know if this is the case across, every single game they've played, but what I feel is they have a really good idea of how the game's flowing, and they adjust their game accordingly. So, yes, I don't think there's anything to say that this is, they're just getting by talent. No, I think they know what they're doing out there, and they have a very young team. In fact, I believe it's the youngest roster in all of baseball.
It is. He is Tim Dillard. If you're not following along with him on social media, even if you don't care that much about the Brewers, you're not having fun because he's great. At Dim Tillard on social media, dimtillard.com. He's all. What's your? I assume you got TikTok and Instagram and all that stuff because you're all over the place, right?
Yeah, I am. I got TikTok. I don't know what it is completely, but there's some stuff on there as well. Videos, pictures, man. If I go into a city, it's like, what food is at the stadium? What do I need to look at? It's really fun. It's like some sort of vlog for Major League Baseball. I enjoy it very much. This is the best job ever.
Yeah, well, I enjoy following along with you, and I miss seeing you as often as I used to. But thank you so much for taking some time with us today, and we'll catch up again soon.
Absolutely. I went by your place at the field. You weren't there, and I was so sad. So I'm glad that you texted me because I was like, absolutely. I'm glad to get to talk to you.
I got the heads up that they probably weren't playing today, so I didn't even go to the ball.
Well, at least nobody hears you saying that right now.
Nobody heard me say that. So thanks, Tim.
You got it, Matt. See you, Matt.
Very good. Tim Dillard joining us on the program. One of the, I say it and I mean it, one of the great guys in our game of baseball. Just a fantastic dude. And definitely worth your follows. He does a lot of fun videos that are just really enjoyable. You know how we all do like the death scroll, right? Where we're just like you can do that with his videos for sure. So check him out. All right, we got to take a break. If you want to chime in on anything, I said I'd open up the phone lines, the text line, the tweets, and all that sort of stuff. This would be the time for it. So we've got about 25 minutes till 8 o'clock or so. I've got stuff to talk about, but if you've got something that you want to talk about Cardinals related, I will certainly I will make way to you. So we'll do the open line portion of Sports Open Line, doing that right now. If you want to get in here, you can call or text 314-436-7900, 314-436-7900. Tweet at me at Matt Pauley on air, MattPauley on air. Leave a comment on the video stream that we've got going, and we'll touch on some of those things between now and 8 o'clock. We've got more coming up in just a moment. It's Graybar Sports Open Line here on KMOX.
Summer is on the way, or should I say the heat in St. Louis, it's on its way. Be here before we even know it. If you haven't had your air conditioners checked and set up and ready to go for this cooling season, or if you were told you might need a new one, or you just think this is the time of the year, this year is the time to just go ahead and replace it. Prices are down, 0% financing is available. It's still the best time to call me. Don't put it off. One easy number in Missouri and Illinois. It is 314-293-2600. Again, that's 314-293-2600 in Missouri and Illinois, or on the internet, bartinman.com. That is Bart with a B, Inman with an I.com. God bless. Deer season is here at Seidenstricker Nobe Partners. If you've been thinking about a new mower, gator, or compact tractor, May is the time to take a look. Get cash off new select John Deere equipment, plus affordable finance options to help make your purchase even easier.
Bring home dependable equipment built for the season ahead. Come see us at any of our S&P dealerships or visit snpartners.com. Seidenstriger Nobe, your partner for the land.
Offer valid through 6/3/2026. Some restrictions apply. See dealer for details.
We all know moms work hard, and Menards makes it easy to shop for perfect Mother's Day gifts that will show her how much you care. We've got great gifts for mom. Spend more time outdoors with our impressive selection of patio furniture. Whether relaxing in style or adding color and beauty to a backyard space, trust Menards to help you make this Mother's Day just as special as she is. Plus, check out our weekly flyer on menards.com.
Save big money at Menards.
You know, here in St. Louis, word of mouth still matters, and I'm pretty careful about who I recommend, especially when it comes to something as personal as estate planning. I'm Tom Ackerman. My family has been working with the Lederman Law Firm for over 20 years now, and the reason is simple. They don't just create documents and send you on your way. They help make sure your plan works. Because let's be honest, life changes. Family needs and circumstances change. Laws change. But most estate plans don't change over time as needs, circumstances, and laws change. They're outdated, sitting in a drawer. People assume they're fine, and their plan will work when they need it to work. At the Lederman Law Firm, it's not a one-time transaction. It's an ongoing process. They build a plan to protect your family and your assets, and then for a fixed annual fee, they help keep it up to date as both your life and assets change. Check out the Lederman Law Firm at ledermanlaw.com or give them a call at 314-514-9100. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
Hi, I'm Bobby Witt Jr., ambassador for MLB's Play Ball.
Let's play ball!
It's an accessible, fun way for kids of all skill levels to learn the game, make new friends, and most importantly, get out and play ball. No prior experience needed. No bat or glove? No problem. We provide participants with their own bat and ball kit so kids can come as they are. Don't miss Play Ball Weekend, June 5th through the 7th. Visit playball.org to register for an event near you today.
Major League Baseball trademarks used with permission.
Siteman Cancer Center Spotlight, and we are discussing esophageal cancer with Dr. Raymond Jin.
We're starting a program here in the upper GI space called PREVENT. That's the acronym, and it's really aimed at trying to detect these cancers early and even to kind of, reverse them and understand kind of the science behind why they form.
Siteman Cancer Center, national leaders in cancer. For more information, visit siteman.washu.edu.
100 years, one legendary voice. We live KMOX's century of service, classic audio, photos, videos, and more at KMOX100.com.
An unexpected Gray Bar Sports Open Line. Unexpected because Cardinals got rained out. We weren't expecting to do a show. It's been a fun show. We've had a good number of guests. Always appreciate it when we reach out to people at the last minute and they still say yes. And I've done nothing but talk Cardinals for these 2 hours. Of course, Redbird Rush Hour before this. So 3 hours of nothing but Cardinals. If you're not going to get a Cardinals game, at least you're going to get Cardinals talk here on your home for the Cardinals. KMOX 314-436-7900. 314-436-7900. That's how you call. That's how you text. You can tweet at me, at Matt Pauley on air, or leave a comment on the video chat. Let's grab our first phone call. Andy has given us a call. Hey, Andy, you're on Sports Open Line.
What's up, Matt?
Not much. You're on.
I love this team this year.
Appreciate it. What do you especially like about it?
There's the power and the speed. And J.J. Webb hopefully turn out to be a great player.
Yeah, he's really playing well, and certainly appreciate the phone call, Andy. This is go ahead.
I had a couple questions.
Sure, go ahead.
Did you update me on some stuff? I've been away from St. Louis for like 15 years, right? What happened to Juan Encarnacion after he got hit in the face? I know we came back. Is he okay?
Yeah, I think he's fine. We haven't seen him much, but I think he's all right.
And what about Jose Oquendo? What's up with him?
Yeah, Andy, I appreciate the phone call. Jose's still a big part of the organization. He is based out of Florida, works, during spring training. We see him all over the place working with guys. And, yeah, he is still – his fingerprints are all over this organization as he continues to work with young guys, and he's based in Florida at the Jupiter Complex and does a great job helping the organization. Let's grab Steve, who's giving us a call. Hey, Steve, you're on Sports Open Line.
Hey, I really enjoy your show, and I got to give you credit.
lot of people were squawking about the whole Mike Schilt thing, and you kind of kept you held your ground a little bit. I think you all knew more than
Steve, you there?
It didn't make sense, but now it makes a little more sense. So I just wanted to give you credit for that, because there was one time I called in, I was kind of like, what are we doing here? But my question is, and I don't mean to be negative, because I'm extremely excited about this team. Two questions.
Mm-hmm.
Third, just kind of, a little bit. I like what they're doing. Let's say they're, a couple games out of the wild card, and a lot of people were thinking they had these pieces they could move, like a May, that will be attractive to other teams. I hope they hold the course and do what's right long term, because I think they're doing the right thing. This team is just blowing me away. The one guy that I can't stand, and I'd love you to explain to me why I should like him, I think the most overrated athlete in the history of St. Louis sports. I don't know, because he has a funny name or because he has, he was, part of the Japan thing. And I can't stand Lars Nootbaar. He's on Budweiser commercials, and he's been an injury-prone letdown. I'm just concerned about him coming into the mix and doing his typical routine, being overhyped and overblown. And I don't see Lars Nootbaar. I don't get the whole Lars Nootbaar thing. So maybe you can explain it to me.
Yeah, Steve, I appreciate both things. So first off, let's get to the first. I think your first question is one of the most captivating narrative storylines that this team could run into this year. If this team continues to play good baseball, if this team is legitimately in contention for a playoff spot, and they've got some of these pieces that they were going to move off to try to continue to build for the future, what do they do at the deadline? The one thing I'm very sure of, no matter how well this season goes down, they could be the first place team in the NL Central. They could have a top 2 or 3 record in the National League. I am very, very sure that they are not going to go all in at the deadline and add to the roster in a way that they are going to lose important pieces to the future. That's the one thing I know that they are not going to do. I do think there is the ability, in that situation, to add a piece here and add a piece there, but I also don't think it precludes them from maybe moving on from some guys, especially if you're contending for one of the wild card spots or one of the final wild card spots. If you get a ridiculous offer for Dustin May, if you get a ridiculous offer for Riley O'Brien, if you get a ridiculous offer for, let's say, Ryan Stanek really turns things around and gets going, I don't think necessarily you say no to that, because Chaim Bloom made it really clear that the focus is the decisions that they are going to make. When they're faced with a decision about short-term and long-term, they're going to look to the long-term. And I think right now this team is being actually rewarded for making good decisions. But it's not going to be the same. The trade deadline will not look the same if they are in contention for a playoff spot versus not in contention for a playoff spot. There would be some things that were changed because of it, but I think it's a really good question. I'm not trying to not answer it. Basically, I'm just trying to agree with you that I think it's really interesting, and I don't know for sure what they're going to do. When it comes to Lars Nootbaar, I was disappointed with Nootbaar last year because I've been somebody who has been I have defended Nootbaar a lot. I leave open the possibility of last year being a result of the injuries more than anything else. Let's apply. I'm going to bring Jordan Walker up for a second, because I think in some ways this is the same deal. We have referred to Lars Nootbaar as a StatCast darling over and over and over. And what we mean by that is the underlying numbers, the metrics are really, really good, even if it doesn't result in the baseball card numbers. For most guys in baseball, if you have the underlying numbers, the baseball card numbers are going to follow along with it. That's why we've been excited about Jordan Walker, because the fact that he hits the ball so hard and the fact that he's got this elite bat speed and these things that he does, the baseball card numbers were not there, but we knew the parts were there for him to be a very impactful player. And through 6 weeks of the season, we have seen that. That doesn't mean for sure he's going to stay that way. It just means we have seen that here in the short term. But the reason we always thought that was possible was because of that. we can apply the same thing to a certain extent with Lars Nootbaar. You look at all the underlying numbers, except for last season. Even last year, the underlying numbers started to come back as well. But historically, through his career, the underlying numbers have been better than the actual numbers. But you sit there and say, if those two ever meet, this is going to be a guy who can be a really impactful player. And he has certainly had his moments as well. I hold out hope that he is going to be somebody where the baseball card numbers and the underlying numbers are kind of in the same area, that they match each other. We haven't seen that from him over 162 games. We haven't seen him for 162 games because he has been, even when not dealing with this heel injury, he was dealing with other injuries throughout his career, very much injury prone. I would think that there's if he comes back and he puts up some really good numbers for a short amount of time, he might be somebody that you do look to trade, and you know that you've got pieces available. Victor Scott or Nathan Church would be displaced in one of those situations in terms of being an everyday guy. You still have Joshua Baez, who's going to be back at some point. So I don't really think that Lars Nootbaar is probably long for the organization, especially if he's playing at a high level. But I would say that when he gets back either later this month or right at the beginning of next month, he's probably going to get an opportunity to be just about an everyday guy. And I am interested to see what it looks like, if he looks like the guy from last year or the guy in previous years where the underlying numbers were good, but maybe the baseball card numbers were not. I don't know if that was the answer that you were looking for, but it's the answer that I'm going to give you. And I'm going to take a break. We'll come back. We got one more segment to go. It's Gray Bar Sports Open Line on KMOX.
Guys, Kevin Wheeler here. I want to tell you about the Burn Balance Complex, which is available at supplement superstores. And it's Burn Balance Edge for the guys. It's Burn Balance Zen for the women. And what this is very simply a complete metabolism system. It's not just a simple fat burner. It's way more than that. It works with your body to get the metabolism working the way that it's supposed to. So what you notice right away, what I've noticed here in the first couple of months is your shirt will lay a little bit flatter, your pants fit a little bit looser. It's not like that as immediate, but it comes pretty fast. This is a great natural weight loss option for people that don't want prescriptions or injections. If those aren't for you, go to supplement superstores and check out the Burn Balance Complex. On top of getting the metabolism working, you're going to get reduced stress with lower cortisol levels. You're going to have appetite control and craving control, all-day focused energy without the jitters that come with energy drinks. And look, it's not magic. You got to do things the right way, but the Burn Balance Complex makes it so much easier. So get out to supplement superstores. Tell them Kevin Wheeler sent you in. They will knock 30% off the Burn Balance Complex for you right there, and you can find your location at supplementsuperstores.com.
Is your financial advisor working more for your retirement or for his? Find out the real story behind the financial industry with Greg Ayler, Saturdays at 1 on Fire Your Financial Advisor.
My son loves to fly kites, but my active psoriatic arthritis can sometimes hold me back. Now with Skyrizi to treat my skin and joints, I'm ready to go. Skyrizi, risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults, helps with less joint pain, stiffness, swelling, and fatigue. For those who also have plaque psoriasis, 90% clearer skin is possible with just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
With Skyrizi, there's nothing like clearer skin and better movement, and that means everything. Ask your doctor about Skyrizi today and visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKY-RIZZI to learn more.
I'm Ultima Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Every time one of my children started driving, it was terrifying. I am quite aware of the dangers being on the road. Thousands of accidents happen across the country. We see it every day. These families' lives will be changed in an instant. We fight for these families as if they were our own. We've become America's largest injury law firm by winning cases just like these. If you've been injured in a car accident, call us.
Injured? Dial # law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
An important message from S&L Coins. S&L Coins pays top dollar for your gold and silver coins, old currency, gold-filled jewelry, scrap gold and silver, silver plating, gold and silver bullion. Get a quote with a a call to SNL at 544-3600. SNL Coins, 544-3600. Or visit SNL Coins at 9300 Gravois, just east of McKenzie. Open 9 to 5 Monday through Friday, 9 to 4 Saturday. Before you sell, call SNL, 544-3600.
Experience an evening of love, beauty, and lush soundscapes as the St. Louis Symphony Orchestra performs Ravel's Daphnis and Chloe. 3 extraordinary pieces come to life, from Ravel's masterpiece to the world premiere of Nathalie Joachim's Family to Kevin Putz's evocative Virelai. Nearly 300 musicians, May 8th through 10th at Powell Hall at the Jack C. Taylor Music Center. Tickets at slso.org.
Bringing a data center online takes more than equipment. It takes precision. Graybar helps customers predict, stage, schedule, deliver, and verify every step of the build with critical products that are available now. From networking and wireless to critical power and testing tools, our teams help you reduce downtime risk and keep projects on track. Speed, scale, ready now. Yep, Graybar does that.
What if every time you spent money, you saved money too? With Achieve It Checking from Together Credit Union, you can do just that. Every debit card purchase is rounded up to the nearest dollar, and the spare change goes right into your savings. And here's the best part. Together Credit Union boosts your progress by matching qualifying savings, up to $8 a month. It's a free checking account that helps you achieve more automatically. Learn more, or better yet, enroll today at togethercu.org. Together Credit Union, federally insured by NCUA.
Welcome back to the Graybar Sports Open Line. Once again, Matt Pauley on KMOX.
Just a couple minutes left on this edition of the program as the Cardinals rained out tonight. And we'll be back with you tomorrow afternoon for Cardinals baseball. They will wrap up what is turning into a 2-game series against the Brewers. So they're looking for a 2-game series sweep. And now coming up, it could, depending on how things go, and both the Cardinals and Brewers need to hold up their end of the bargain, and I would think there's a pretty good chance of that happening. But this could turn into just an epic July series coming up. It's going to be leading right into the All-Star break. They'll play the weekend after against the Braves, but it's the week leading into the All-Star break. And what was originally supposed to be a 4-game series at home now turns into a 5-game series, a single game on Monday, then the doubleheader on Tuesday, split doubleheader, that's July 7th, then a single night game on July 8th, and a night game on Thursday, July 9th. So that's going to be 5 games in 4 days between the Cardinals and the Brewers. And if these teams are right next to each other, that's going to be a lot of fun. That could be a swing series. So one of the new things here, not new, but I've heard it more referenced lately, because when they won the 4-game series, when they swept the 4-game series from the Pirates, they call it a mop. Well, I guess if you sweep what turns into a 5-game series, it is a mega mop. That's what I saw that on social media today. So the Cardinals, or the Brewers for that matter, but we'll look at it from a Cardinals perspective. The Cardinals from July 6th to July 9th will be going for a mega mop. Last year, I guess there were 2 separate 5-game series where the exact same thing happened, where a 4-game series got turned into a 5-game series because of a postponement, and no team got the mega mop last year. There can't be that many mega mops in the recent history of baseball, because 5-game series are not something that you see that often. So we'll get to there. We got more baseball to get to first. Tomorrow, I will talk to you then for postgame tomorrow. Cardinals and Brewers tomorrow here on KMOX.
Turning 50 doesn't mean slowing down. It means getting smarter about your health. That's why we created Neo